and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I hope you're all well. I hope you're having a good week. I've just been sat in front of the TV. I'm into so many series that my daughter keeps recommending to me. It's that I almost forgot. So, anyway, how the hell are you? Nice to see you, Capone. Nice to see you in the house. And Edna. Hiya, Edna. And we've also got Bridge. We've got Bridge in the house. Well, in the car, but listening. That's perfectly fine, darling. So, how the hell are you all? I hope you're good. I hope you've had a good week. I hope life is treating you good. It's funny because I nearly did some gardening today. I know. Um, when I went out, because I had to nip out earlier, and when I went out and saw there's buds appearing in the pot. It makes me so happy. So yeah, I thought, oh, maybe when I get back, I'll do a couple of things. I've got some hyacinths. That I've got actually indoors, and I thought I might put them outside now because they've flowered, and I don't know whether they're going to flower again. So I thought, oh, maybe I'll get, I'll put those outside. But by the time I'd got home, the temperature had somewhat dropped, plummeted, I say, and I thought, no, maybe I won't. Maybe I won't put them out there. So I didn't. So, how are we? Are we ready to relax? Should we just chill, chat? I've got an update on the crime. What did I call it last week? Crime time with Jan. Yeah, I've got that lined up for us to go over because my goodness, that is a story to be told. And to be honest, I'm not great at telling stories. I just waffle on and go off at tangents and things. Edna, if you want to come up and join, the link is there for you. So yeah. So what else have I done? Oh, Sunday coming up is Mothering Sunday, which means I'm going to be thoroughly spoiled. My kids are so good. They're going to take me out and spoil me and buy me lovely gifts and, things like that. So, yeah, I look forward to that. Other than that, no news. Yeah, I've booked the tickets to see one of my favourite bands. So looking forward to that, guys. So looking forward to it. It's a reggae band that started off as buskers and have done so well that for themselves that they perform in massive arenas. So yeah, so they come into a town near me. So I'm going to be up there dancing away to the old reggae as usual. Oh, I've done it before. Love it. This year I'm taking my granddaughter. I've introduced her to reggae. She loves it. She's like, oh man, I like this. So I said, right, we're going to be dancing and dancing when we go out. So yeah, so she's coming with me this year. Hey Edna, how are you, darling?
Hey Jen, how are you?
Hello.
I'm doing well.
Hello.
Hold on,
Calling Edna. Are you there, darling? Yeah. How
I'm,
are you, darling? You good?
fantastic. Another ready for another Wednesday waffle.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been a good name. Wednesday waffle. I like that. Yeah, we can't
You
change
want
it
to
now because
change
everyone.
it? Give it all that wellness jokes.
Yeah, yeah, I know. There's people saying, "How could she talk about wellness when she's not very well?" I think they're missing the point. Oh God, definitely missing the point. Oh God, doesn't it make you laugh? Some of the things people say. Hey, tragic. Yeah, you're my favourite Ginge. Do you know what? I don't know. I shouldn't really say this, but my ex, he was Irish, therefore Ginge in some parts. So yeah, I do know an Irish person. He's my ex, though. So yeah, there's a reason for that. But we won't go into that. Um, and yeah. Oh, and I tell you what. I tell you what was so funny. You'll appreciate this. You'll appreciate this. Tragic. When I was pregnant, my one concern was that my child was going to come out ginger. That was my concern.
look at
How awful am I? Listen,
yeah,
this mouth of mine.
little bit in what are the children's names? I don't know their name, but they're ginger.
No, I've lost you.
The,
I've lost you. What are you
the
saying?
royal children.
Oh,
Lilibet
yes,
and
they
Archie.
are.
That's it. They are.
Yeah,
That's what was. I don't know. It's not funny,
are.
but it's just the fact that they were so concerned about Megan being half black and the children.
Listen, we mustn't slate the gingers. They have a hard time of it, you
No.
know. And I don't really understand, if I'm perfectly honest. Okay, I said that about, giving birth to a ginger child, but that's kind of in jest, really. But I think women with ginger hair, with red hair, are stunning. I have to say, I think it adds to a woman's look if they've got auburn red hair. I think it's really good, really nice.
Oh, absolutely. Jen, I had some neighbors growing up and they were black gingers and I thought they were so cute.
Oh,
Yeah.
black
But they
gingers,
like
call them.
yeah. I don't think so. They were the only ones I ever knew, but I mean it's possible.
I'm thinking by Tragic's words here, comments here, that he's done ancestry. So he's got a little bit of German, a little bit of Italian, and part Cuban. You don't look like it though, Tragic. You don't look that at all.
Tragic. Jen, do you
Yeah,
mind if I ask Tragic a serious question?
yeah.
Okay, Tragic. Are you familiar with the American rapper Glorilla? How do you feel about the way she says Cuban in that song? All right, thank you, Jan.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind answering Edna there, that'd be much appreciated. Only his facial hair has a tinge of red. Yeah, it was the same with my ex. Oh no, what? Right, my ex wasn't like bright ginger. He was like sort of dark ginger. But
Hmm.
when they say, "Do the curtains match the what is it? Yeah.
The
Do the
drapes.
curtains match
Wait, the carpet.
the carpet?" Yeah, well, the first time
No, the carpet matched the curtains.
curtains. Well,
You were throwing me off.
the first time I saw the carpet, I roared. I was like, "What is that?" Oh, I shouldn't really say that. That's a horrible thing to say. But yeah, I'd never seen it before. And that was more of a red. Do you know what I mean? It was like, oh,
Yeah.
where did that come from? That was a surprise. Um, Right, so Tragic says his daughter has strawberry blonde. Yeah, I think strawberry blonde is nice, especially when they add a bit of blonde into it and you've got like, well, not for your daughter because I don't know how old she is, but when women have strawberry blonde hair and then they have the highlights, I think that is stunning. And then also if they add a bit of ginger in there as well. Listen, I've played with my hair for years and years and years. And I've had so many different color hair where I've sort of dyed it myself. And I was once, I've gone very red with my hair, but I've had like highlights of blonde in there. Um, I've actually got a dye uh ready to use in the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, I'll wait for the summer. I'll put it in the summer because I like to think I've got that beach, that bleach blonde look going on.
Nice.
But sometimes when I see old pictures of me when I'm really, really blonde, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, maybe, yeah, okay. You would have noticed me walking around. But I love, I like different colour hair, definitely. No, my hand. No, do we need to know this, young man? Do we need to know this? Oh, blonde. Oh, I say, I've never seen that. Do you know what? I never thought that people were blonde down there. Why are we having this discussion? Tragic, go and stand in the corner. Enough already. Edna's having a
Ah,
fit over there. She won't cope.
I have no comment.
No, seriously though, I didn't think you could have blonde down there. I thought blondes were always dark down there anyway. Why are we talking about this? This is disgusting. Oh my God. I wonder
Oh,
who I'm
Bridge,
going to
if
offend
you're still
today.
listening, I know. That's what I was gonna talk about. Bridget's her premiere, her video. It was very
Hmm.
well done as always, and
Yeah.
she asked, "Who cares about hearing Steve number one side about what's on the laptop?" I care. I would love these facts and to hear his point of view from 20 years ago on this situation. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do think, it's like people question, oh, why would you want a certain person on to talk and blah, blah, blah. Well, because I believe in getting the truth from the person, from the person that was actually there. And there's a lot of people that don't seem to understand that. Um, and run with their own narratives. Now that live stream I was in yesterday, that woman was just so awful. I'm not even going to say her name, uh, but she was just so awful and so presumptuous. Uh,
Oh, yeah. Who can say her name? He Kate?
yeah, no, he Kate, that he Kate. Um, and I was just like, who the hell does she think she is? And that's
Yeah.
another reason why I came hard on what I said to her. Um, but I've well, it's my personal
You got in
explanation.
your
If
feelings a
I
little
if I
bit.
want
You
to
did
say
too much
what I've
thinking, but
done,
you don't mean
I
to offend people. Is that
it's
what you're
like
saying?
it's like if I care about somebody, if I've upset somebody, or if somebody that I care about may be insulted by something I've said, then I will apologize to them. And I've
Mm-hmm.
done that. That's all I'm going to say. And but I also have to hold true to my beliefs um and the things that I said, I stand by. Maybe I shouldn't voice them so publicly, but I'm not going back on how I feel about certain things. But if I feel that I may have um, hurt somebody by my words, then I will apologize for sure. And I've done that. So yeah, people have to realize, I am an old bird. I get called it all the time. Mama calls me old and dusty. The first insult I ever get from anyone online is that I'm old. Yeah, I am.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived a life. I've lived a life that's full. I have. Um, but there
Well,
are
Jen,
certain,
just realize you have the last laugh because they'll be lucky to reach your age. You know what I mean? You've already reached your age. They have
yeah,
to
I
still
know.
yet to get there. And they don't realize what it takes to get to whatever age, or what someone has gone through to make it to that age.
Exactly. And I don't use the word survivor lightly. And but I'm also not going to explain it either, especially here, you know. I will explain it to friends offline, people that know me would obviously know anyway. But yeah, when I use the term survivor, I don't use it lightly. And I am a survivor. Trust me, I'm a survivor. Hey, hippieista, lovely to see you. Um, so that's all I'm going to say about
Hi.
that. But the other thing is that people, I don't know, you know, I don't like these people that poke their heads, above the surface and dictate to other people what they should and shouldn't feel. No, I believe in certain things. I don't think, and there's certain areas that I have absolutely no experience with, and some people don't seem to realize that. Some people don't seem to realize that. I have never, ever met anyone in the sex industry ever, even in my
Hmm.
many years on Earth. And I think there's this sort of, I don't know, it's weird to me, and I don't know
Well,
whether
you
it's
know
because
what, Jen? I bet you have. You just don't know. Because I
somebody
think
said
that's
that.
what
Yeah,
Bridget was speaking to.
yeah, yeah, I know, and I do get her point. I do get her point by saying that, and I respect Bridget. There's only certain people that I respect online, and Bridget is one of them. And one of the reasons I like Bridget is because she's not afraid to sit in front of her camera, waving her wrench and telling me I shouldn't have said this and I shouldn't have said that. But you know what? I respect that
You
of
can
her.
almost see the wrench.
Yeah, but I respect that of her, and that's what people
Yeah.
don't understand. you know and it's not about kissing somebody's ass, and it's not about being afraid to say things. No, Bridget's a free spirit. She's very much like me. I'm very much like that. And yeah, on that topic, I will, say exactly what I feel. And in doing so, not even consider that there may be somebody within hearing distance that may be offended. Um, and so I have to accept that from Bridget. And I did, accept it from Bridget. And I do, you know. But I just wish I just wish that there weren't so many people out there that, or, in this corner of the internet, which I seem to say every time I do a live stream. I wish there weren't these people that feel that they can speak for everybody else. And I think when that woman was so offensive to so many people, I just thought, who the hell do you think who the hell do you think you are? Not
Right.
everybody is familiar with that. And as far as I'm concerned, I would never be familiar with that. But, you know, to, to go on the mic and accuse me of this and accuse me of that and accuse Barley of this and accuse Barley of that. I'm like, who do you think you are, Missy? No, no. Um, right, let's see what the chat's saying. Bridge is the blunt friend we all need. Yeah, absolutely. I know I blooming say things out of turn sometimes. I told you, I've got adult kids and they'll tell me, Mum, shouldn't really have said that. And I'm like, oh, really? What shouldn't I have said?
Right.
Um,
It
we
happens.
live, we live and we learn. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, right. What do we think of this? Okay. Speaking of free spirit,
Oh,
or maybe low.
Jen!
What do you think?
You know what? I want to say congratulations to Kelly because I know that she um, dealt with like women's health issues in the past. I don't know specifically what, or I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, congrats to her and her little loaf that's on the way.
Yeah, I'm in accordance with you. I just seeing her, cradling that tiny little bump she's got at the moment, I think is lovely. It's a blessing. I see every child as a blessing. I see every mother as being
Hmm.
blessed with the ability to have a child. It's not easy, it's not an easy. Okay, some people seem to get pregnant as soon as they see, something phallic, but some people don't. So I always think it's lovely if somebody can become pregnant. I understand there's been some, yeah, I agree with you, Hippie Easter. Every child is a blessing, 100%. And, yeah, I do believe that, and that's why I cherish mine so much. Um, but no, I've lost the thread of what I was going to say. Oh, I understand. I've not seen any because I wouldn't read it, but I understand that there's been some quite nasty comments made towards towards Callie, and I'd like to say to those people, you should be bloody ashamed of yourselves. You know, at the end of the
What did
day,
people
she
have to say?
I don't know, darling, I didn't see it, but I saw
Oh,
tweets sort of saying, I can't remember one tweet in particular. Somebody was saying, "For God's sake, leave the woman alone." Oh, I think it may have been Bridge actually, who said something like, just leave the woman alone. And I just thought I didn't yeah, Capone, you can go in the corner as well, you know. I didn't see the actual wording. I saw a comment, I think from Bridget, who'd said, just leave the woman alone. It doesn't matter what you've gone through with her online or whatever. I can't remember word for word. But yeah, and I thought, are people actually saying mean things? And I didn't bother checking. That's what I mean. I saw that bit, but
right.
I didn't check what was actually said. I didn't want to see it. Um. Oh, did she have problems then? I didn't realize that. Oh, well, that's good. I mean, if she wanted a child, then I'm really pleased for her, and it may be her grounding to have a child, because it certainly does. It certainly does ground you. That's even more amazing that she's preggers. Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's something that many women sadly are not blessed with. So yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know who the father is. No idea. Uh, but yeah, I think good for her. And if I were her, I mean, this actually gives her the opportunity to completely change what she talks about on her channel because, um, oh, she had cysts on her ovaries, did she?
Yes.
Ah, I didn't know that. I think it depends on the size of the cyst, though, doesn't it? Or whether they're able to sort of remove
Yeah.
the cyst. Um, I mean, I only found out with my last child that I had fibroids, and they were all. I mean, I was under, quite what's the word? Observation, quite strict observation, and one of the reasons was because I had fibroids, and some of them I think were quite big, and so every time I used to go into the hospital, they'd always sort of measure out the size of the fibroids, and then at one point, as the baby grew, they were like, "Oh well, we're hoping that you've got one over the exit." I can't think of the word. When the baby comes out of the womb, sort of down there was one floating around down there, and they were like, "Well, we're hoping that that's going to move." So I'm like, "Oh, well, what happens if it doesn't move? Does that mean the baby's going to stay there forever?" I mean, What are we talking about here?
Mhm. Oh, that's
Oh
hilarious.
my God. And as it got nearer to the birth, they were still, you know, talking about it. And I think had it been a real problem, I probably would have had to have a cesarean. But um, I was quite lucky in that it obviously moved and the boy came out at the right time and all the rest of it. But I think what people don't realize is there's so many complications that can occur when you're pregnant, so to actually go through a full
Right.
pregnancy and to give birth is a miracle for me. I just think childbirth is, and maternity is a miracle. That's the way I look at it. Okay, let's see what we're saying. It hit me hard, but I finally came to the realization I won't have children. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Capone. Yeah, I am
Yeah.
beyond sorry about that because you are the type of woman that I hold close to my heart because I can't imagine not being given that gift. So I'm sorry to hear that. Very sorry. Um, I was only able to have one baby, and he is an amazing adult. That's lovely. That's lovely.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, there are people that, I remember DC used to always go on about when you find some of these women that couldn't have babies and then they get into altercations with other people online and then start trying to use that as a weapon. Oh, you can't attack me about this because of the. I like, no, no. Um, that's completely separate. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Right.
I just think that it is a blessing, but it doesn't mean to say that those that weren't blessed are unworthy. I'll put it that way. I think that's probably the best way. Um, mm, mm. Hey, Tasha. I was wondering if you were. No, 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 no. Never. Not Mrs. Katie. No, she was very rude yesterday. And yeah, I don't like being spoken to the way she spoke to me. So no, if she wants to apologise for the way she spoke to me, then I may consider it. But no, nice to see you in it though. So, what have you been up to, Edna, this week? Have you been
Well,
working?
work. Yeah. I'm trying to think work. I ended one project. It's so funny because they were like, okay, we're going to slowly phase you guys out of, the work that you're doing over 2 weeks. And that was, so let's say that's Friday. Sunday, we're like, everything, we lose all access. Like, it was 2 weeks turned into 2 days. It was so funny. So it ended up being an additional week of working on like the extra project, but now I'm back to like my regular work. It's kind of slow, so I'm doing tax returns on the side, like just
I have to ask
independently.
you. I have to ask you because we almost touched on it last week, but we didn't quite get
Did
there.
we?
Are you
Mhm.
still house hunting?
I okay, so I am, but I put it on pause because I realized, or I guess maybe my realtor realized that I'm too far out. Like, my lease doesn't end until the summer, so it's kind of too soon or too far out
Oh,
to really
right.
be
To get
looking at
what? To get
places.
so you lease where you are at the moment.
Right, I
So
rent
if you give up on your lease too soon, does that mean that you'd end up having to pay for two properties?
exactly.
Oh, no, that won't do. That
It-
won't do.
mm-mm. So I
So
have a couple of places that I'm interested in, and they've actually been on market this whole time. And but it's like I can't, I can't put in an offer or anything because I don't want to have to, pay for it.
so how many months are you looking at then? How many months have you got left on your lease?
Oh, I don't want to talk specifics, but
Oh, okay.
and enough to where it's like it's far enough to where we don't want to like go look at
Yeah.
places anymore. Like I kind of wanted to get a feel for what it was to kind of be like to just to do a walkthrough of different properties. So
Mm.
I visited or I toured maybe 6 places.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I have like a good understanding of what I'm looking for.
Yeah. That's good. And you're going to be buying, so you're going to go from renting to mortgage.
Yes.
Mm. Okay, that'd be
Uh,
interesting. That'd be a big
did I
step
say
for
we?
you.
No, Edna is not a we. It's just a me.
Oh, do you like pets? Will you get yourself a pet? Do you like
I
dogs or
well,
cats?
I don't know. I mean, I might meet someone. Either way, I think I want a 2 bedroom. Just to have
Oh
space.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Get a 2 bedroom. I mean, my place is small because um I downsized and
Hmm.
I actually sold my house. I had like a 3 bedroom, three double-sized bedroom house.
Oh,
I lived in, sort of, well, firstly with my husband and my son, and then after I booted him out, it was just me and my son, and we lived there for, quite some time. It was my house, but then my daughter lived in a much smaller a much smaller property in a village, sort of just not far from me. And she just had her second child. And I said to her, you need a bigger property. And she said, I know, but we can't afford it, blah, 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 blah. So I said, I'll tell you what, you can buy,
oh, right.
you can buy
Sorry.
mine. And then I'll downsize because I'm sort of at the
Hmm.
age, I'm old. We got to
Yeah.
downsize. Um, But I still would definitely need 2 bedrooms because to begin with, my youngest was still living with me. But then when he moved out, was it a year, 2 years ago, maybe? Can't remember. Um, his room I can now use as my art room. So that's what you could do. Like if you've got like a 2 bedroom place, Edna, you can turn one into an office, you can turn one into whatever you want. So, or if you want
Right.
people staying.
Well, I was
But
thinking I might want a roommate just so I won't. Oh, sorry.
just so you what? You want a roommate what? To pay the bill, to help pay the bills?
Oh, I mean to help pay the bills, but actually, I think that wouldn't even be an issue. It's just to I think it'd just be nice to not live alone, like to live with someone.
Oh, I love living alone. I love it now. I think because,
Really?
yeah, I realised when my youngest moved out a couple of years ago, it's the first time I've lived on my own since I was, oh, uh, ever. Put it that way. I've never lived on my own. Oh, once I lived for a little while on my own, but it was like a year, when I was about, oh, how old was I? 18? But I've always lived with other people, and that's not in a shared house unless you call it like your husband and your kids. So I've always lived with family. So for me now,
Yeah.
live on my own. It's wonderful. I love it. I can go to the toilet. I can have a bath and leave the door open. I can do whatever I like. I love being on my own. I love it. So
Yeah.
anyway, but
Well, see,
I can,
I mean, I'm not uncomfortable living with other people. Yeah. I'm pretty
yes, I
free.
do, Capone. I have very strong views
Are
about
we talking
promiscuity.
taxes? Yes.
No, we're not talking taxes. We've moved on from that.
Lisa says she
Is
needs
that
to do her
Capone? Is that
taxes.
Capone saying that? Yeah. See, Capone knows me well enough to know. I don't,
No,
you
that's
know,
hippie.
And the truth of the matter is that people that really take the time to get to know me will know that, you know, I'm a very caring person, but I do have very
Mhm.
strong moral views that are going to offend people, especially if they're in a certain business. And I won't apologize for my views, no. Um, but if I feel that I've upset somebody, I've already said this. This is on repeat. Not saying it again. So yeah. So we're not going to go over that again, and we're not going to talk about that. So we've got one called PP Tasha, and we've got one called Pew Pew.
No, just pew pew. What do you see?
So we've
PP
got
is pew pew.
PP Tasha,
Oh,
and
that
we've
is
got Pew Pew Tasha. hmm Anyway,
stop.
I'm not going to talk about it. There are obviously people who don't understand the type of life I've led. Put it that way. And if there were people that came on and said, "Oh, I don't like the way Jan lived her life, and I don't like this because of X, Y, and Z," then I would have to suck it up or explain. Well, actually, no, it wasn't quite like that. We've all got a voice, and we can all be heard, um, and if people don't want to hear it, then the issue is with them. Uh, I'm very proud
Yeah.
of
I was gonna
who I
say
am.
it's kind of like tough cookie.
Yeah, it is. It is. They're my views. You're not going to change them, and especially not by trying to act like, you know, Queen Bee over there. No, sorry, no. No Queen V. V for vagina. No. All right. Get over it. Right. So moving on. Um, the first drag I ever heard from Jan was about Vicky. As his scarf got stolen by someone, Vicky was having a rendezvous. Is that what you called it? A rendezvous? Look at you with your French. And Jan said, if you lay down with dogs, you get fleeced. Did I? That was a long time ago. Yeah, I just do not stand for it whatsoever. And somebody, oh, thank you, Capone. I didn't realize you disagreed with me that much. That must mean that you're in Edna's camp. She in your camp then, Edna? She disagrees with
I
everything.
didn't know I had a camp. I think I'm just kind of here and people put up with me. People's like,
Oh,
I don't hate
well,
Edna. She's whatever.
do you know what? I believe that there's a song, people make the world go round, and they absolutely do. And there's all different types of people. But without those different types of people, life would be very, very dull. And people look at life through their own eyes, and some people choose to sort of be very blinded because of where they are in life and what they've done in life. I'm not like that. I like to look at other people's lives, and um there's certain lifestyles that I cannot and do not agree with. I just do not agree with it. And, we can have a discussion about it. I don't mind if Edna wants to talk about it, but I will never, ever, ever apologize for my moral.
Jen, you trying to set me up.
No, no, darling, because if you don't want to talk about it, then
Well,
that's fine. I've got the crime thing
no,
set
no,
up, so
no.
you're on
I'm
loose
just
then.
no. Absolutely not. I'm joking. No, we can
Mhm.
talk about it because I have nothing against sex work or anything like that. I I think it's completely hypocritical how, everybody wants to get off, but then you want to demonize the woman for getting paid for it.
Um, I don't think it's so much about demonizing the woman. I think it's the whole concept of it. that is disgusting. I just think that it's degrading to women. So on that level, I cannot get behind it. And it's interesting that people like old Peepee here can say things like this. Jan could never make a penny lying on her back. Uh, why would I want to? Why would I want to?
See, that's
That's what
the
you
point, Jan. I
have
think
to
it's
know.
really ridiculous. It's like a court,
Exactly.
but
Why
no,
would
but
I
like,
want to? I
but
have earned
that's the to the point of why.
right. I have earned
Oh,
my
sorry. I
own
think there's a
money,
delay. Go ahead.
whether, I was a mother, before I was a mother, um, and all throughout my parenthood time, I have earned my own money. At no point did I ever consider laying on my back to make money. Now, we obviously come from different worlds because for you to put that up shows a certain mentality, and that's a mentality that I cannot get behind. It's just insane to me.
But
Why would you even
Jan,
consider
I
that?
think the fact that she has, but the fact that they have that mentality means that they're somewhat been like victimized or been um, left behind. Because that's just like we know that that's not what people were strived to be. Why would you further, push them down or beat them down by saying, "Oh, that lifestyle is," by making them feel bad about it? Because I mean, if
Mm,
something is to be done, they need to criminalize the men, the Johns.
yeah. And I mean, you get these girls that are like, "Oh, well, it's the oldest profession." So what? Why? Why is it the only
Yeah, because
profession? The
it's a
oldest
defense
profession?
mechanism. It's
It
like it's like they want to feel proud of themselves, and they deserve to feel proud of themselves no matter what they do.
well, I wouldn't feel proud for doing that. I wouldn't.
It's legal. Like, listen, if you put certain parameters about it, you make it safe, consensual, all that
But
jazz.
at the end of the day, you're just selling your body. Is your body that worthless that you want some stranger doing what he wants sexually to you? I
But that's
know.
the thing. That's what someone was saying, that if you're being taken advantage of, that's not sex work. But if you use your body in a sex act to make money, if you choose who you do it with and what ways and what time, you set those parameters.
It's still the that's not the issue though, is it? It's not about the issue isn't about um whether you're allowing it to happen. Because these women,
Hmm.
in my opinion, um I have to be careful now because I know that I've spoken on this issue and I know that some people have been offended by it. So I can only speak about how I see it. Now, if anyone has an issue with it, then bring it to me, you know. But the way I look at it is the body is sacred. Okay. Now, even from the very beginning of time, men have wanted women, and maybe women have wanted men as well, but women gave themselves to men back in the day, and this is why it's the oldest profession. Okay, women gave themselves to men for money. Why? I just cannot get that. I do not understand that. Why would you give your body, your most intimate body, to a man?
Because it's valuable, and they, I,
But
I
what
don't.
about
I
your
mean, I get what you're
self-respect?
saying, but they don't. They're not coming from the vantage point of my body is so sacred. I could never just accept money for it. For some people, having to go work 8 hours at McDonald's is the same thing. They rather go spend 8 hours doing anything else and then probably enjoy it
What,
more, right?
having
You know what I
sex
mean?
with a stranger?
If
Oh,
that's what
God.
that if that's their perspective, that's how they see it. That's
Yeah,
that's on them.
yeah. See, I just, sorry. I mean, I can get my head around most things, but whether it comes from a moral standpoint or a spiritual standpoint or a religious standpoint, I don't know, but I will never be moved on that. I can't, I just cannot. And I guess in a way it angers me that I see that because there are women able to do it is another reason why it's the longest profession, because we all know what men are like. We get down to brass tacks. We know what men are like. Does that mean that the women that are doing it, oh, well, they're cleverer than the men? Oh, yeah, they're really clever, just opening their legs. I don't see that as any kind of empowerment. And that's why I I feel so strongly about it. I just
No, I
think it's a
absolutely believe it could
disgusting
be.
thing to do. I just do.
No, it could come from a place of empowerment because if you take somebody and basically treat them less than a human, or not even in the sense of less than a human, but you undermine their intellectual capabilities, right? You
Yeah.
deserve to get taken advantage of.
Mhm.
Like her taking money for sex acts. I mean, it's the way you're looking at it, because many people would look at it as the man's getting taken advantage of, not the woman.
No, not at all. Because at the end of the day, it's the man that gets the pleasure from it by using the woman's body, isn't it? And all right, you could say, oh, yeah, but she comes home and she lives in a nice place and blah, 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 blah. But at what cost? That's the way I look at it. I think, but at what cost?
But what's the cost though? Because you got to look at it. I mean, because we we're saying like black and white prostitution, but in many regards, that's not what it is. It's like having a lavish lifestyle. You're maybe more of a sugar baby. Yeah, you get an allowance X, Y, and Z, but you know what I mean? Like that's the cost. Or I mean, or that's not the cost. That's what the woman gets out of it. The cost is maybe people knowing that that's what you're doing, but depending on how you're doing it and how you look doing it, that's what you're paying. It varies.
But doesn't that mean that, I mean, what does that mean? What what does that show about how the woman sees herself? She just sees herself as a piece of meat.
No, it's okay. So I have to work, right? I have to pay rent. I have to eat. I have to, pay for transit. Do I
Mhm.
see myself as I would much rather just chill, relax, you know what I mean? But I literally have to work doing something. Am I just a meat suit using my brain,
No,
making these
because you're not
calculations,
allowing. Yeah,
checking the documents?
you. I
You know what
don't
I mean?
think.
Like, what's the difference?
I don't think you could compare. I don't think they're comparable at all because you're not allowing somebody else to use your body.
No,
Do
but
you
I'm
know what I
still
mean?
providing a service. That's what I'm saying.
A service.
Because sex work doesn't have to be your body. It could be virtual. It's still sex work.
It's still getting the man off, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's all about getting the man off. So
In a sexual
I
capacity,
don't
yeah.
run with this. I don't run with this notion that men, oh, the woman's the clever one because she's getting paid for it. No, the woman is is shouldn't say it, but no, I won't say it. The woman is just passing her body over like it means nothing to her. Here, look, I've got a nice pair of titties. I've got a nice ass. Use it. Nah, no, no, I can't. I just can't. And I get, pew pew in the chat is saying, "Oh yeah, but she gets to decide the terms." Yeah, so let's look at it from a different angle. If there
I'm
weren't
sorry.
Right, if there weren't these, prostitutes, and it wasn't available so easily for men, um, how would they survive? Do you think they
Jan,
could
they abuse women
survive?
all the time. And
Exactly.
girls.
Yeah, exactly. So
But the thing is, it's like,
are
why are
these
we now?
prostitutes now gonna say, "Oh, but we keep the weirdos off the street"?
No, I don't think they're saying that. I think in many ways, these women have already been abused and they're reclaiming their power by getting paid for it.
See, I don't understand that either. I don't believe that at all. Without going
I
into
mean, do I think that there's some
whatsoever.
women who just
No.
think it's fun? Who,
Hi, Lauren. I think it all depends on how you view sex. Some people don't see sex as this private, precious thing. It's a person to person thing. Do you know what? I think you've got a point there. I really do. I
Mhm.
suppose if you can separate the sex part from love, maybe. Yeah, maybe I could sort of look at it slightly different, but I don't know. It's still the fact that it's a woman's body. That's what I don't like. I just think it degrades women. That's what I think. Um,
So if it's a
Pony,
man, you don't have an issue with it?
you don't get many men prostitutes, do you? You don't get many men prostitutes, and
Jan, I
there's a reason
met one in
for that.
Girl World. One of the first people I spoke with.
What, he was a male escort or a male
Yes.
prostitute? I bet he didn't get half
Escort.
as
I
much
mean,
work as the
that's
women
fair.
do.
That's not the point. Jan, please. I,
What did he look like? Do you know what I mean? I
I'm
think
not.
women are
I'm
much
not going there
more.
with you.
And there's
Absolutely
another
not,
thing.
ma'am.
I think I think women are much more picky, put it that way, whereas men will, yeah, they'll do it to anything. Do you know what I mean? Put a bag over your head and a man have a whale of a time. That's what I believe.
I don't know. I mean, I think it depends on the guy that you're talking to. And it might seem like anything, but he's probably just any kind of guy. So they're matching their energy. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be with somebody that you don't vibe with, you know? I think that's why you're attracted to each other, right?
Are you telling me, right? Are you telling me that these prostitutes or these men that go with prostitutes actually find the prostitutes attractive?
On some level, they have to.
No, I don't see. I don't
Some
agree with
part of
that.
them,
I
yeah.
think most of them are probably pissed out of their heads, or if they're in America, they're probably stoned out of their heads because that's what you seem to do over there.
Not necessarily. I mean, listen, I'm just talking, right? I'm just shooting the shit because whatever. We're just having a Wednesday
It's
waffle.
Wednesday.
I'm I I'm not I don't you know I'm not privy to men who are sex workers clients. You know what I mean? So this
Mm.
is just what I think I hypothesize.
Well, I don't want people to think that I'm a prune. A prune. I am a prune actually nowadays. Look in the mirror, I'm like, God, I'm a prune.
Jim,
Um, a prune. But
no.
let me tell you, I have not been an angel at all. And I'm not going to spread my business out there at all. I was in this I was in the stage production of Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. I was a prostitute in that. Okay. Now, at no point, listen, I may be old and dusty now, as your mama says, but when I was younger, I was not. Put it that way. And I, yeah, had a lot of fun that I would never divulge on here. But I can honestly say that I have never, ever even considered prostitution, ever. It was just, it's just not, it's just not something that I would even consider. And I remember someone
You know
said,
what, Jan? I think you just haven't heard. I remember there was a Monty's panel about kink, and it spreads the gamut from like the most, oh my goodness, like to like very vanilla, right? I'm sure on this spectrum you could find some place where you're like, you know what, I can make a little change doing something strange, you know? You don't think so?
no,
Nothing? Okay.
no, darling, no. And no. Because I think once you enter, put it this way, once you enter that arena, there are so many doors that are going to be closed to you. If that ever comes out,
And that's the problem.
it's going to
Why?
be because it's disgusting. It's
No, okay, look at
disgusting. I
Jan, look at
mean,
Jan, look at Capone.
and listen, I've worked with so many different people. I have worked with musicians, actors, uh, so many different people. And I know that's just something that, I mean, maybe it's different in America. Maybe it's different where you all come from. Although I understand Queen V was in Canada. It makes no difference. It's a certain it's a certain lifestyle, and it's a lifestyle that I would never ever entertain. It's a lifestyle that I would that none of my friends would entertain, even today or back in the day. None of us. No, you just don't. So I guess it's quite nice for people on here who are in that business. I guess it's nice for them to find other people that are in it and say, yeah, yeah, we're the girls. Yeah, we get all the money. We do this, do that. But yeah, no, not for
I
me.
don't think that's Jan, no, I don't think that's what they're saying at all. Well, what
Mm-hmm.
they're saying is, I don't want to hear you talk about X, Y, and Z, you know, because I have this to say about it. And they're giving their viewpoint as someone in the industry. I think it's valid.
I'm going to let you say your thing, Edna, because that's why I like you up here, because
What I want to
we
say is
never
Capone's,
agree.
let
But
Capone talk.
okay, all right, we'll get to Capone in a sec. I also would never personally do sex work because I wouldn't want my future children to be affected by it. But that's just my personal choice. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one thing that Queen V mentioned. And like, oh yeah, well my 40-year my 20-year-old daughter. And I was like, oh my God, you got a 20-year-old daughter? I'm like, oh no, sorry. Sorry, sorry. Right, I'm not gonna say anything else, but yeah, no. Awful. Awful. I'm sorry. What does the 20-year-old daughter think of her 40-year-old mother
Jan, we're
who
not talking
sleeps with,
about her daughter.
I mean, what? Yeah, but she brought her up.
I
I
cannot with
didn't I didn't bring it up. She brought it up and I'm like, I can't, that's awful. It's just awful. I just no. Oh, and they said someone I think earlier on said something about, oh, you
I'm,
said that if your granddaughters did it, that you would disown them. Um, yeah, I, yeah. I would try and speak to them. I would say, "What the hell are you
I
doing?"
don't know. I think it's interesting.
I think it's just
But no, like you could
awful.
take somebody like Northwest, right? With Kim Kardashian being her mother. And people had so much to say about Kim and what her kids would think and X, Y, and Z, and where she is and how she's kind of like rebranding herself along with Kanye's shift. It's a totally different situation. I don't think anybody would even look at Kim in the same light.
I'm sorry, darling. I don't know anything about the Kardashians. I can recognize them in pictures, but I don't know anything about them. I understand they're a bit problematic and a bit sort of what's the word? Surgically enhanced. I'm not sure if enhanced is the right word, but yeah, nah, not interested in them. But what I want to
Well,
do,
I mean, I'm
actually,
just saying that as you grow up, you give your parents more grace because you realize that they're human.
oh my God. Do you know what? I think if I told any of my kids, and I've got 2 girls, 2 boys, if I told them, oh my God, I can't imagine the look of horror
Your
on their
kids would
faces.
judge you?
Oh, yes, yes,
Jen, that's
absolutely.
terrible.
And no, it
I'm
isn't.
sorry. It
No, it
is.
isn't.
I
It
couldn't
isn't.
imagine.
It's about having morals. It isn't. I
Yes,
would
you can have
expect them
morals
to
and
be
you can have an
ashamed
inner
of
compass
me.
without judging other people and without pulling
No,
down other
honey, it's
people.
not like that. Not for something like this. No, no. There's just some things that you just don't accept. And I often think, because I watch a lot of true crime, and I often think to myself, and I've spoken to my daughter about it. How would we feel if one of the boys turned out to be a murderer or something like that? And that's a horrific situation to be in. And I think to myself, well, and we sort of say, sort of hypothetical sort of chats. What would you do? Would you hand them in? Like when you hear about, especially like the Gabby Petito story, where
Oh
her
yeah.
his family protected him, and we were discussing that, and I remember saying, I think if one of my boys did that, I would give them up. You have to, because right is right and wrong is wrong. There's no in betweenies. Oh yeah, but da, 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 da. No, no. It right is right, and wrong is wrong. And I feel the same way with sex work. I just think it's wrong. I just think it's awful. And nobody's going to make me think any differently about it, because there's ways of making money. I understand the arguments of, oh, yeah, well, she got herself through college and she did this and that. But I mean,
I don't
what
know.
about the future men that are going to be in her life? How are they going to feel knowing that she's been giving it away to these strange men for money? I mean, no. Anyway,
How is he gonna feel? He's been buying it, Jen. Who do you
no, he hasn't. Not all men go to prostitutes.
and not all women sell, but I'm telling
You can't say that. You can't say, "Oh, yeah, but he's been buying it." No, he hasn't. Not all men go to prostitutes. Only certain type of men go to prostitutes. They're either drunk, they're either drugged up, they could be married, they've got some sex fetish, they're lonely, so they need a beautiful girl to look after them. No, stop it. A lot of rubbish. Anyway, I've got to speak to Capone, because otherwise she'll never speak to me again. Let's see what she's got to say. People in chat, help a girl out. Would you let someone perform oral on you and pay you 1,300 cash for it? No, no, not really. No, asking for a friend. Yeah.
And I don't know because it depends
No.
on who it is. I
It depends
13
on who it is.
perhaps.
Ah, I watch a
Let's
lot
go
of
have a
true
coffee. Let's
crime.
talk a little bit.
Ah, I know Capone. Go and stand in the corner. I think
Right next to
Tragic's left.
tragic.
So go on, go over there. Always coming out with inappropriate questions. Um, a random fish. Edna's husband can pay her. Can you imagine though? You're dating someone, a really nice guy, and you've got that secret. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, when do you tell them? Like, oh, by the way, I've had about 20 guys, well, probably more than that. I've had like hundreds of men
That's a
pounding
short
into it.
career.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, oh
but I
yeah,
mean that's
yeah.
but
Oh,
the thing is, Jen, that's some people's real life experience. They've done some things. And if they can handle the conversations, if they're really talking about it, then talk about it. But if he can't, then he shouldn't even ask those questions. Just let it be what it is. If you love her and you want to be with her, then don't worry about it. That was before you.
oh yeah, yeah, but let's get to the real world. Yeah, let's get to the real world. Oh, I do. I think I do understand what it is. Sex work
I
is
know I don't.
selling yourself. That's it. Selling your body. That's it. No, no ifs, buts, whys, whatever. You can paint it any way you want. It's selling your body. And I think there's repercussions for it. And yeah, I watch a lot of true crime. And no, I shouldn't say this because it would be, oh, they'll all be running with it saying, oh, Jan thinks this and Jan thinks that. But quite often serial killers um focus on prostitutes. And one of the reasons they focus on prostitutes is because prostitutes normally don't have a good family connection. I'm not saying they don't come from a good family, they may do, but there's a reason they've gone into prostitution. And the men, these serial killers, know that these girls can go missing for weeks and nobody bothers to find out where they are. Now, that says a lot to me, and it should say a lot to other people. It's not just about my morals, how it's about being accountable for what you choose to do. Nobody's forcing you to do it. What you choose to do with your body, the most sacred thing that God has given you. You've chosen to
And I think
let
something should be
someone
said for the
bang away
serial killer.
on
They
you.
shouldn't kill people.
Ah,
I
well,
said something has got to
yeah, I
be
see
said to the serial
timing
killers.
again,
They're
Edna.
killing people.
Right. Yeah. Now listen, you're missing the point, okay? I'm not condoning serial killers at all. What I'm trying to say is you will find that the vast majority of serial killers that focus on prostitutes is because those girls are normally of a certain type. And they're normally from families that have given up on them, put it that way. Okay.
Right.
Drugs is normally involved or some sort of addiction because no one in their right mind is going to choose that. Nobody, it's just, and these mad men
Well,
who
I
go
don't think
around
you can be
killing
so black or
women.
white with it though, Jan, because I think in certain situations people could get in certain aspects of sex work. But I think you're painting all sex work with this like broad brush. as if everything is the most like dirtiest, seediest, whatever you know, act. And that's not necessarily what it is.
Well, explain to me. I mean, yeah, I agree. That's how I do paint them. But how would you paint them then? I'm interested. I'll listen to you.
Yeah, well, it just depends on what it is. I mean, like, I think somebody, I can't find the comment now, but they said some, sex work could be just sharing provocative photos. Because that's, to my understanding,
Oh, well,
that's what
that's a
account.
bit different.
Oh,
We're
it
not
was.
talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're
But
talking
that's
about
also sex work.
prostitution, which
And
is a
that's why
different
people,
thing, and
but,
webcam.
but, but it's
If
like you're putting
yeah,
one and all is the
with
same.
webcam, if men are stupid
And that's
enough,
what people are getting offended by.
yeah, no, I'm not talking about that. If that's a completely different thing. I'm talking about the real sort of bump and grind part of prostitution, the one-on-one, put it that way. I'm not talking about webcams or anything like that. No.
Mhm.
Yeah, that can be seen as sex work.
Then
Okay.
what about fish comment?
What about what?
Fishes comment? Random fish?
Let me just read Lauren's first. There it is. A lot of people don't see their body as something given to them by God. They view it as their own, where they can make their own choices. Yeah, you can have a good point there, Lauren. You could have a good point
Hmm.
there. Um, yeah, I can't change the way I look at it as regards my religion and my spiritualism. But that's how I feel. But I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you pointing it out in a non-confrontational way. Um, I can understand that, and I appreciate it. Okay, because it seems that there's very few people online that are capable of doing that. And I agree with you. It's like Capone says, I don't think my body is sacred. I don't believe in God. Yeah. See, so obviously people like that are going to think differently. But as I said, I am quite a religious person, and I've been brought up with religious beliefs, and I've also been brought up with strong morals. And yeah, I cannot shift my thoughts on prostitution. Now, maybe I shouldn't call everything under the umbrella of sex work, because there is some sex work that I think is less derogatory, put it that way, or disgusting. Um, I think, a girl who's, flaunting herself on camera and men viewing and paying
Modeling.
her, I don't have an issue with
Mm-mm.
that. If men want to do that, then that's up to them. Do you know what I mean? More for them. But yeah, I wouldn't object so much to that. It's the actual act. It's the actual act
Okay.
of allowing some. Ugh, no, I can't even think about it without. Ugh. Um, no problem. I understand having difficulty not understanding something you wouldn't do yourself, but we have to remember that we're all different. Yeah, I know. I know
Right.
that. I know. And I also think, I'm probably the oldest person here, and I've had quite what's the word? I
Well, I
wonder
think random
if
fish might give you a run for your money.
okay, where's random fish? Where is she? Where's Fishy? Uh, there she is. Can I, and I won't be offended, but I don't know if I'll answer, so you don't be offended either. Yeah, Fishy, I
Oh,
was
I
going.
wasn't meaning like her comment. I just meant that fish is also old.
Oh, okay.
Very.
Listen, we're not that old. Do you know what I mean? We're not 80. Even though some people like to say we are, we're not 80. And if we were, it doesn't matter. If we were, that means that we're very open-minded for an 80-year-old. It also means
Or
that
78. Yeah.
we're very worldly wise. You know, we're not technologically challenged like some 80-year-olds. So yeah, maybe we shouldn't take it as an insult. You know,
Absolutely not. What's the
it's
name? Troll detective, come out of hiding.
I heard that she was coming out of hiding. Edna's older than you.
Finishes telling lies in the chat. Don't believe her.
Well, did you know that Bridget's been lying and apparently she's a 50-year-old? I tell
Yeah,
you
white
what,
woman.
a 50-year-old white woman, I tell you what, dang, she looks good for that.
Yes.
I tell you, she's got the cutest little face, says Bridget. She really has.
I like
No,
her ears.
of course she's not 50. That's just people being stupid. As they do. I mean, apparently, sometimes I'm 70, sometimes I'm 80. I don't
I
know.
mean, we've all seen people who look amazing for their age, right? But I mean, if you look like a hard, what is it, road hard and put out wet 35-year-old, that's okay too. I mean, it is what it is. Just do the
Mm-hmm.
best you can from where you are. Start drinking your water, getting your sleep, eating your vitamins.
Yeah, that's Edna's life hack. Right, Lauren says, I've sent guy friends ass pics to cheer them up when I was single, and that was my choice. I don't feel used or gross or like I compromise my morals. I have a nice ass, I might as well show it. Do you know,
Oh,
I don't have a problem with like that with that. If that's what you want to do, fine. And please let me know if there's anyone that likes the look of an 80-year-old ass, because I may well take a pic of mine. Put it out there.
Jen, listen, don't tempt people because you know you have some takers in here, I'm sure.
Ah, do you know what I think of haters? You should know what I think of haters. I couldn't give a monkeys. I really couldn't give a monkeys, you know. I enjoy my time on here. The day I'm not enjoying it is the day I'm not going to come on.
Yeah.
But no, I enjoy it, and it's nice talking to different people and perhaps learning a few things. I learned a few things from Bridge today. Um, did she make me eat humble pie? Ah, she made me feel, how can I put it? She made me feel, yeah, I guess I did eat a little bit of humble pie because I don't like to feel that I've upset somebody um unwittingly, you know. And some of these people, like, Queen V, she deserved it because of the way she came out. She was all this, she's all, oh yeah, well, I'm effing this and I'm effing that and I did it, and you wouldn't earn a
Well,
penny
hold
on
on,
your ass.
Jen. She
You
had
know
a
what
lot
I
to
mean?
say
And I'm
about
like,
Alec,
oh, piss
but
off,
she
mate.
wasn't necessarily. I mean, okay, she was putting 20 on 10, but that's the entertainment of it. So you can't really fault the woman for that. And then also, I like Bally, but I mean, this does not look good. And when you take into account that more than likely she's cleaned up the story somewhat,
I
like
don't
it,
know.
I'm not saying that what PK says is what it is, because I think that's a bit far too. But
Mhm.
also, probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult because
It is.
I can only go by what people say, and there was a reason why I was asking her the questions I was asking her, because I wanted to sort of get some sort of grounding and find out exactly, where she was at the time and blah, 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 blah. And although other people may look at it and think, oh, there's Jan dragging this and no, there's
Well,
a reason,
no.
you
Yeah.
can't, I'm not just going to
Well,
come in and attack somebody
Jen,
for the
listen,
sake
I'll
of
say it. I think people aren't giving Bally. And I think Bally's point is that she is also a victim, or she, like she was in a touchy situation, and maybe she's not telling all of it because it's hard for her because it involves, more than she's willing to explain about what she played into it, which we can, I mean, I can understand that. But at the end of the day, it's like she, it, it could, I don't know. It's X, Y, and Z, or to label X, Y, and Z. Like it wasn't a good thing. And she isn't saying that it was. She's not proud of it. You know what I mean? To like make her feel bad about what she did. I don't. That's where it's kind of like, what's the point in that? Because she's not proud of it.
Yeah, I agree. I've said everything that I really wanted to say about the situation, and I still want to give Barley a voice because I Barley has a lot of issues, and at the moment everybody's going hard for her for whatever reason. They can pick on one thing and then go hard about that, and then pick on something else and try and destroy her for that. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in just you know pummeling into somebody. And has she told the full story? I don't know. I mean, I tried to give her the opportunity to do it on my panel, and I don't think she was lying. But I think, as you say, possibly there are some things that, she feels bad about and she doesn't really want to talk about. I I feel the best thing for Barley to do is to stop talking about it. Just stop talking about it. You've said everything. You can't answer everybody that's accusing you. Um, I
Well,
mean,
not only that, but this is the platform in which to talk out this situation.
yeah,
Like she's talking about,
exactly.
getting, her mental health. Like this is where I would say, is a perfect example of where you go to a therapist and say, listen, I have this situation. I'm on YouTube. People are accusing me of this. This is what happened, and help talk through the issue in a safe, space like that with a qualified, professional. But having all of these different people coming from like 20 different ways attacking her is not going to help.
No, I fear for her. I do. Um,
Yeah.
But anyway, hi Kimberlina, nice to see you. So Kimberlina says, I think Bali needs to catch up to America. 2024, things are not the same. She shouldn't be talking about it. I agree with you. I don't understand, and I know Bridget sort of touched on it in her video, but I can't remember the sort of conclusion she came to about why did Bali ever speak on it. I mean, I can understand people
I
wanting
think
to
it came, no,
appear
she
as
talked about it
themselves.
because
Go on.
no, she was saying because she was saying how um the story about her going to or being asked to get girls for her boss was to explain why she didn't like Jewish people because her boss was apparently Jewish and he made and she had this negative experience with him. I think that's why this story came out as a way to explain why she had said negative things in reference to Jewish people and I think FFG.
Yeah, okay. Now, as Capone says, I wish people didn't harp on a story she told when she was drunk. She's been forced to speak on it and doesn't bring it up herself. In that case, I think I mean, it's gone beyond that now, I know, but she really needs to just don't talk on it at all, and don't go into chats trying to defend yourself, because you're trying to, like, defend. It's like going into a lion's den and having a banana
Oh,
to
it
cry
is.
with. It
I
doesn't
mean,
matter. They're
embrace.
not interested in the truth, because all they're gonna do is keep throwing back the things that you've said. That's what they do. It's like a baying mob, and I hate
Yeah.
it. And I hate that Barley is in that situation. She doesn't deserve it. She doesn't, and I don't care. I mean, where was I? I think I was in Bridges chat, and somebody came in and said, "Oh, is Barley still one of your moderators?" And I said, "Well, yes, yes, she is. Why am I going to be the next person to cross her off the list? Why would I do
Yeah.
that?" I just think
What's
it's
changed? What did she do to you?
exactly. I can't, and I don't act on other people's say so. I'm my own person. And when I say things that are out of hand, people that are strong enough will come to me or, like today, fire up a video and say, "Jan, you shouldn't have said that." That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I don't mind that. I'm not a big ogre. Do you know what I mean? I am approachable. But what
Mm-hmm.
I hate this mentality that is, in this community. And I'm just so glad that all I ever do, all I do is talk about it, because it's the most disgusting community. It's awful. And to drag this woman who, yeah, she's divulged some dodgy things that have happened in the past. Yes, of course. And if you dig deep into it, yeah, you can throw your arms up and say, "Oh my God, she shouldn't have done that." But to mark her down as
Mm-hmm.
something so damaging, I think is just awful. And these people should be ashamed of themselves, because Barley has spoken about her mental illness. And people need to take that into consideration when they're daily beating her. She's got
Listen,
nobody that helps her.
people
Nobody.
to be acting like, no,
I'll let you
Gene,
talk,
it's
'cause I'm
not
gonna
even
go
as
and
if
get
we
a
have to
drink.
walk around our tippy toe.
I'm gonna go and get a
Okay.
drink because I
Okay, I'll just talk. Okay, I'll talk.
yeah,
Thanks,
you
Jen.
you just
Okay, thanks.
talk, darling, because I
I
need a
don't.
drink and I need to calm down.
Okay. Okay, I don't think it's the fact that, oh, Bally's so mentally ill, we need to tiptoe around her. I think we all have varying degrees of mental illness, and I think it's the fact that anybody, we don't know, 100% of their background, what's going on. So in that respect, we should give her um, understanding in X, Y, and Z. On top of the fact that she's been transparent about her mental illness. It's like, but I mean, you shouldn't. What your mama did with her having her yodel, playing around when, what did Fish say? Bally wants to be liked and understood in girl world, and that shouldn't even be a motivating factor. Not sure about the second part, but yeah. And it's like Bally's stream is just a good time. It's like a disco. You're just laughing. And, wow. I mean, yeah, I'm laughing. It's just dancing, and it's just a vibe. And or at least that's the parts that I kind of dip into, right? That's what I take away from it. So I just think that when someone has that as their kind of motivating factor,
Yeah. I
is that what
think
you mean? I
also,
don't know.
people over here have this tendency to attack. And when people are really open about themselves and make themselves vulnerable, instead of sort of looking at that and thinking, "Oh, okay, maybe that's why she acts like that, or maybe that's why she said this," they use it as a weapon against the person. And
Mhm.
I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like bullies. Never have, never will do. As Capone says, that's why I'm nice
Yeah.
to everyone, because you never know what someone is going through. I don't know why that's so hard to grasp. I'm exactly the same, Capone. Exactly the same. Uh, Madame Ethel. Um, is that Madame Lethal? Okay. Barley refuses to take accountability and apologize. She cannot grow as a person without doing those things. Do you know what? I'm going to agree with you there. I am going to agree with you. And I wish Barley could do that. I really wish she could. when I
Well, it
was
takes
watching
time.
Bridges, when I was watching Bridges' video today, I learned a few things that I wasn't aware of, and I do
Mm-hmm.
feel that perhaps this taken accountability. I don't know. I think some people see taken accountability in a different way. Is she taken? I believe that she possibly feels that she's taken accountability because she's shared it. But I think what people want her to do is to recognize that what she did was wrong. And in doing so, that's when she needs to apologize. But who is she going to apologize to? That's the thing. Who are people expecting Barley to apologize to? Because from what I'm gathering, Barley was saying that the girl was a prostitute. She said she got her
Mm-hmm.
number out of a book or whatever, newspaper. She was a prostitute. So she doesn't have to apologize for that. Now, as far as I'm concerned, um, uh, as far as I'm concerned, no, I've lost the thread because I was looking at the chat. Sorry. Um,
Well, maybe this is where Hike can come in and respond and let us know, like, what
no, I
do
don't
you
want her in
want?
here. I don't want her in here. No.
Okay, well, Jan, listen, I'm asking. Okay. Hike, what are you expecting to get from Valley? You know what I mean? Like, I understand, Valley's defense or X, Y, and Z, like, whatever it is. But that's a valid question though, right?
Sorry, darling, your mic went out. I missed it. Say it again. Say it again.
I was saying that
Your mic went, and I
I
missed
know I know, but I
it.
don't know what part you missed. Anyway, I was basically just saying that um the fact that he gets mad at Bally, like what does she want from Bally? Like how does she rectify the situation? Because
Yeah,
it's
that's
not fair to say that, she's just barred and she's canceled forever. Because Bally
yeah,
is here, she wants to be a part of the community, and there's no reason why she shouldn't be welcome, you know?
yeah. But then, having said that, I'm well aware. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to bring it back to me. I think that's a really good point, and I hope you will answer that, Madame. Um, I agree with she. I don't know. Does she take accountability? But I'd like your answer. I think that's quite an interesting thing. Who is she going to apologize to? And why should she apologize when she says that she's since met the same girl? And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why is everyone insisting that she apologizes? And who to? People like me and Kimberlina, who watch everyone, are the ones who have the tea because we're not closed-minded and watch multiple creators. You know, that's another thing that is quite a good discussion, in that these mobs, and I can only call them mobs, these mobs that follow these creators who then follow their calls to action, as in, oh, we're not having her back in my channel. She's not coming on my channel because, because of this and because of that and because of the other. What happened to conversation? What happened to giving somebody the chance to speak?
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, and Yo Mama's one for like just blocking people is just, it's just ludicrous to me. I mean, I have
Hold on. No, we're not even gonna call him Yo Mama. We're beefing. Let's call him Slow Mama because we're a panel full of
no,
morons.
Mama. Yeah. Oh, you're fully on my side, are you, darling? I thought
Yeah,
you were
now
going
I am because I'm
over
part of the panel. Yesterday I was a mod. This today I'm a part of the panel of morons. So we're
there.
beefing, Slow Mama.
Oh Lord, that poor boy. That poor little man. But we have to talk to him nicely. Remember? We have to talk to
Oh
him
yeah.
nicely. Oh my
You know
God.
what? It's funny the first time, every time, but like by the third time, it's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, I know. It took me a while. Right, okay, what's Madame saying? Last year she had drama for the trafficking staff. Yeah, but okay. She also was in a lot of hot water for saying anti-Semitic things in multiple streams about one creator and Girl World and Jewish people in general. Um, yeah, I understand that. Now, I wasn't aware of that, Madame,
Yeah.
until
That's the thing about
today.
that one.
So I haven't really, yeah, I haven't really thought about that. I will say to paint the same, to paint all Jewish people the same is a bit childish because they're not, you know.
Mhm.
So just because she had a bad experience with one Jewish guy doesn't mean to say that they're all the same. So yeah, that's kind of a bit weird. But I need to think
I
about
don't know.
that a bit
I
more.
just when it comes to racism, it's just I see it so often that it becomes almost trivial in a sense because it's like how small minded are you? You know what I mean? So I don't think about it.
Oh, that's it. Bridge picked up on the fact that she called black people coloured people. Do you know,
Does she?
I grew up with
Oh yeah,
being
she
called
did say that.
coloured, and I always remember saying, "What colour?" Because it's like, yeah, well, what colour? What? Because it's just such a. But I think, see, I'm not making. And people are just going to say, "Oh, it's because she's defending Bali," but no, it's like I do think that our languages are different over here, and the connotations of certain words are different. And I've said it before. Anybody under the age of 30, for me now, I
Yeah, we
call a
talked
girl
about this.
or a
Yeah.
boy. It doesn't I don't look at it in a sexual way, I don't mean it in a sexual way. It's just the way we address things over here.
Well, and just the way we're talking now, where obviously there was a time where, Bally could talk about this stuff and it would be accepted. Now is outrage, right? Like things, what's appropriate changes depending on the context of who you're, the community, the times, things like that.
But you can't expect people, from what I understand, she lives in Ohio. She doesn't live in New York. So,
This
and
wouldn't be okay in New York.
I think there's a difference. Yeah, but okay, I said that wrong. Um,
I
I
feel
think
like
Harlem.
Ohio, it would be more accepted to be, to say like colored or something,
Well, maybe
depending
that's
on.
why she's still. I mean, when did she say it? Did she say it recently? I mean, I remember in
I don't know.
conversations, if ever anyone said, well, I'm going to repeat myself now. If I was in a conversation with somebody and they said, oh, this coloured guy came in, I'd say, well, what colour was he? Was he like pink with yellow spots
Hmm.
or green striped? What was he? But it's like a lot of the older people over here, that's they still use that, you know. I want to read some of the chat here. Oh, Pew Pew's still here. Okay,
Yeah.
I think she just pointed out her life. I don't think she wants anything from her. Oh, okay, all right, yeah, that's fair. I think the way she speaks is very confrontational though, and I found her quite rude, the way she spoke to me. So yeah, that's a different story. For real though, who cares about what she did 20 years ago? I don't care what Barley did at 22. Yeah, that's true. Listen, we've all done things. We've all done things that we've thought, shit, why did I do that? Can't believe I did that. But the problem is, if you bring it to a public
Yeah.
uh, platform like YouTube, you are going to get people who are going to say, "What? What the hell did you do?" You know.
Hmm.
Who
I mean, it isn't really
see
anything.
them again? Be
It's.
careful with
I
them.
think the real outrage would be someone who, huh?
Okay, I'll bear that in mind, Capone. Thanks, darling. Okay. Sorry, what were you saying, Edna?
Oh, I don't know. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just going through the chat. She only disliked Israeli Jews. As a European Jew, I wasn't super offended, but we got into it. Yeah, see, the thing is, Capone, and I
Um,
can't really talk on that too much because I know, as I said in in another chat, must have been last Wednesday, I don't understand everything about Israel and the Jewish people and the Zionists and things like that. So I don't even know who's against who. So that's not something
right.
that I can really speak on. But obviously, if you are of that denomination and are offended by things that she says, then of course you should let her know and explain why you're offended by it. I don't see anything wrong in that. I think we've all got a voice, and even if you haven't got a channel of your own, you've got every right to say, "Listen, I don't like the way that you're talking about this sector or that sector." Does that make her anti-Semitic? I don't know. I don't know. Does it? I mean, she could have good reasons for thinking that. That's not an
Yeah.
excuse.
Well, I think anytime you're saying you dislike a whole group of people, that's where you get into
Mhm.
the anti territory. That's not right.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I yeah, and that's what I'm sort of a bit hesitant to discuss because I don't know a great deal about it. I've known Jewish people.
Mm-mm.
My children, when they were growing up, made friends with Jewish people, and I think a couple of them went to bar mitzvahs and what's the one for the women, for the girls, bat mitzvahs or something, I don't know. And
I think so.
they
Yeah.
had a wonderful time, and and they enjoyed telling me all about it, and I was interested in the traditions and everything. But that's as far as I know, really. And I've also, as an adult, I've known Jewish people as well, but I can't really speak on it. um okay, sorry, Pew Pew, I am trying to have a conversation with you. Where are you? uh Okay. Oh, he's not taking you back. No, he's feeling a bit tender at the
Oh,
moment. He is. He's being called out, and he's like very sad little man at the moment. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't make excuses for her because I don't make excuses for her. I think I just try and perhaps give a reason for why she may have said something. Uh, yeah, she was. Yeah, I just found her very offensive, but that could just be me. But yeah. Um, mm, uh, okay, the first time she told the story, she said she brought her boss. Oh, did she? Oh no, 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 no! I don't like
okay.
that.
But see, Ethel, 22 is, yes, she's a grown adult, but like I wouldn't trust a 22-year-old with hardly anything if I had, if I had.
No, the thing that I'm focusing on is that she said it was a 16-year-old girl. I've not heard that. I've not heard her say that though. And I've watched a few things on it now, and at no point has she said it was a 16-year-old girl. That is a major difference. That's a major difference.
That is a major difference.
Because a 16-year-old girl, whether she, over here, they're what's the word? 16 is the age of consent. I would still think a 16-year-old is still a child. Um because their brain isn't formed. So that is, yeah, no, I don't like that at all. And if there is proof of that, I definitely want to hear that. Yeah, no, that's not good.
Well, she said that when she first told the story that she was drunk and she misspoke.
Why would she talk about something like that though when she was drunk? I don't get it.
And be
Why?
probably because she was drunk, because she wasn't, she didn't have her full capacities, capabilities with her.
Um, yeah, but really? Um, Let me say, who just asked if she's still a mod here? Yeah, she is still a mod here. Um, if I will say this, if I hear that she did procure a 16-year-old girl, then I would have to take her rich. Okay, I'm being truthful there. I do not condone that at all. Um, no, and I'm quite shocked by that. But I need to hear it, and I need to hear it from her words, not from, "Oh, but she said this, and that one said that, and this one heard this." No, I wanna hear it from her words because that puts a completely different story to it, a different, taint to it. And, yeah, I have to say, if you are listening, Barley, if that is true, darling, I will. Um, I would definitely have to consider taking your inch way. Having said that, if you wanna have a conversation with me, I will have a conversation with you. But yeah, no, there's no excuse for that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, hmm. Uh, okay, Capone. Okay, darling. Okay. Well, I think we'll leave
The he
yeah.
cake discussion where it is.
Yeah. What does the age matter? The age matters a lot, I think, because if it's a child, it matters a lot. Um, but my take on it, Tasha, is that the girl, and I say a girl, she's a young woman, right? 19-year-old, whatever. Okay. The girl was a prostitute. Um, Barley found her number in the papers because that's what they do over here. And she phoned her and said, "My boss wants to meet you. Will you meet him at such and such place?" And she's agreed because she was a prostitute. I don't think she was procured at all. Why are you laughing, Edna?
Capone gets me every time.
But yeah, but listen, Tasha, I
Did
don't
you see
think
the
that.
comment right
Listen,
underneath it?
let me just say, Edna, shush.
Sorry.
Um, it's not trafficking, darling. It's not trafficking. If she is, what's the difference with her
It's
phoning the
semantics.
prostitute to him phoning the prostitute? What's the difference? What's the difference? Because that's what I don't get. Now, the difference with the age is no, I just can't with that. I can't with that. No. No, no, no. No. Sorry. I'm triggered. Not 16-year-old, no. Right, okay, what you laughing at?
It's no that you're triggered. It's just I mean, Jan, I don't want you to get me wrong because I 100% understand where you're coming from, where you just you can't imagine somebody having to act like that because for you, you hold it in such a regard. But everybody doesn't have that same viewpoint. But these are Jan's views, so suck. But yeah, so it's interesting.
That's true, actually. These are Jan's views. I hadn't thought of that, Edna. Thanks for that, darling.
You're welcome. Are we about to
um,
go to the true crime or are we taking a break? Did we take a
I
break?
thought, well, do you want to take a break or do you want to still do the true
Yeah.
crime? All right, let's take a
Still
break,
chat. Do
guys,
we want to? Oh,
and we'll
okay. Well,
come
we're
back to
doing
true
it.
crime. I just want to say before we go and you all leave because you're not interested in true crime, I just want to say thank you. Thanks for the conversation. I hope you felt as if I gave you a good shout. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. It's just kind of difficult, isn't it? I mean, I tried to have her on to talk about things. I think she is. I think she is. Sorry. Um, but it does get a bit muddled, and I think there are some muddy waters. But
Mhm.
yeah, but I would just say, just leave the girl alone now. You know, just leave her alone now. Um, enough. All right. She has her issues, and I know it's not that everybody, not everybody can understand that, but there's a reason why I like Barley and I empathize with her. She's lost, totally lost. And I don't want to take that lifeline away from her. Put it that way. I'm being very honest there. I don't want to take that away from her because nobody wants to feel alone in the sea, and this is some crapped
Mhm.
up sea, crap sea that we all sort of swim about in. And yeah, you
And people
lost.
don't realize how hard it is to be
What did I lose,
on
Tasha?
screen too. It's tough to be.
I just want to ask Tasha what I've lost because I don't think I've lost anything. But hey, listen, the beauty of being human beings is that we all have different brains, we all think very differently. Um,
There's Bally.
hey Barley, I hope you're okay, sweetness. Um, just stay strong and zip your mouth up, girly. All right, just zip it. No
Bally, I kind
more.
of want to. I want to see what's on that laptop.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to have a break now. Nice to see you, Barley. And it's actually nice to see everybody that was in here. And thank you for your views, Tasha. Yeah, okay. If you believe it's trafficking, that's perfectly fine, darling. We can all think what we like. But I thank you for being not rude. That was very bad English. I think I'm getting tired. So let's have a break and we'll come back with the true crime. So let's just put some music on and how do we do this? I've forgotten. See you in a bit, guys. All right. And we're back. We're back in the room. Right, where are we? We're on the wrong screen. There we go. That's the screen we want. Hey there, Edna love.
Hey!
That's the screen we want because now we're going to talk about this trial again. Oh my God. I don't know if anyone. Oh, hang on. We need to. Right. I found out so much information. Well, it's been on virtually every day. So I've been sort of popping in and out. And my God, what a shit show it was, Edna. You won't believe how bad it was.
Wow.
So let me just see. I'm try and sort this out. That's wrong. We don't want it there. We want it there. I'm very meticulous, you know. I can't help myself. I had it all set up earlier and now it's just gone wrong. Where was I? Where was I? There we were. That's it. That's
Oh,
it
that's
there.
nice.
Right. So, oh my God, Edna and everybody else that's remained in here. It's insane what they are, well, what they've shown actually in this court case about how bad the actual set was. Remember we were talking about it last week and we were saying that
Mm-hmm.
the behavior on there was terrible, how it was chaotic most of the time, and that's part of the reason such an awful thing could happen, where Alex shoots dead the cinematographer. I don't know if that's the way you say it. How do you say it in American? I don't know.
Wait, if I look at it, then I can say it.
Oh, and I can't show you looking.
Wait.
Anyway, let's carry on. Oh, you haven't watched it. You haven't watched it. It's
Somebody
good.
type it in chat for me.
I heard he was cutting. He was cutting a lot of corners there. And your celebrity crush was Stephen Baldwin. Okay, well, takes all sorts, I suppose. Anyway, guys, because we're now like 2 hours in, yes,
Mm-hmm.
cinematographer. That's the one. Yes.
Yes, there you go.
Mm-mm-mm. Right. So let's change that.
Goodbye.
Right. So today is like the closing arguments were going on, and I was going to sort of talk about that. I was going to show that, but maybe that can wait until next Wednesday. Are we paying attention, Edna, or are we just being silly? Edna's being silly. She's always being silly. What am I going to do with you? Where's Bridget to keep you in your place? Bridget, get your ass up here.
Look, Jack, I can't be serious with the way she spelled it. No, no, Capone, you're not wrong.
Oh, this man. Oh, this. Is that taking the piss out of me? Oi, Capone, you know that wrench can very easily be pulled from your hands. You do realise that, don't you, Capone?
Anybody can get it, Capone.
Yeah. All right. I know I've got a few dodgy mods, but they always behave themselves, so I'm happy with that. Okay. Right. Now behave yourself.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry.
What was that she said? She minored in phonetics. Good for you, darling. You were actually. That was amazing. Right, come on, guys. We haven't got all bloody night. We've already been on for 2 hours. I've got things to do. Anyway, so this is the scene, right? So I'm going to play it, and just let me know if you can hear it. Okay, let's go.
As soon as you guys are 3 minutes
We can
away,
hear
I'll
it.
do my final wire and we'll go hot.
Okay. Get hot? You need to do
No,
anything.
I'm not hot yet.
Okay, wait. I want to see where the camera is so everybody knows the time.
We'll get all that shit back once we wire him and we know it's got to be there.
We need to do the time.
Right, see that girl here? She's
Uh-huh.
the one that is in the trial at the moment because they're accusing her of neglect. I would say neglect of her hair. It's bloody awful. What is she thinking?
Listen.
She's going for a DC Media Girl look, and it looks dreadful. All right, Capone, we'll see you soon. We'll see you soon, darling.
Bye, Capone.
Right, now she's the armourer. I have to explain this because Edna doesn't pay any attention. She's the armourer who, on a film set, is the person that's in charge of the guns. Okay?
Yeah, but she's walking with the gun with the barrel down. I mean, what else?
Okay. All right.
How else are you supposed to do it?
Okay, you'll be taught. Listen.
Battery off the gun now.
Did you see anything noteworthy in that clip?
Just muzzle discipline.
You said muzzle discipline.
And also a
Get a
weapon.
little closer to that microphone, would you?
My apologies. I'm sorry.
So she sorted her hair out, so it looks a bit better now. Okay, looks a bit better. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay. Right, so the expert has said that he's seen a problem with that to do with the muzzle. Okay.
Muzzle discipline, but more importantly, there was a weapon exchange that occurred with, I didn't see a safety check between those weapons. Not sure if it was a replica that she was handing off or a live firearm.
And that's the whole point. The whole point is that this young girl with the orange, with the purple hair, is wandering around with weapons and also with ammunition. That even though it's like a dud, it can still cause injury to people.
Clearly, yeah. Well, see, and this is why I'm not this is where, how do you check the qualifications for an armorer? You know what I mean? Because obviously they called her up in the book. She said she was one. And then, like most people probably, I thought I was going to see a video of her like twirling the gun around by the handle or something crazy. I mean, I understand that you should have more checks, and I'm glad that there are when it comes to gun safety and stuff like that. But, maybe the average person wouldn't have known.
But she shouldn't be an average person. If she's been employed on a set, there are certain protocols and rules that she has to adhere to, and she obviously didn't. And this guy will explain it in his Midwestern twang. He will explain it. Okay, are you ready, Edna?
I'm ready.
Pay attention.
The battery off the gun now.
Too much talking around.
You had concerns about that.
Assuming that it was two live weapons being exchanged, I'm not exactly sure why that would have occurred. Then there should have been a safety check between those two. If he had a replica, then that would have been a good thing that he had a replica previously. But then if she handed him off a live gun at that point in time, there should have been a safety check. But more likely in this particular circumstance, he's wired at the back and he's about to do a stunt where they're going to probably do a dead man's snatch. They're going to snatch him into that wall, probably when he's been fired upon or whatnot. Having said that, they probably took the live weapon and handed him a replica, a soft replica, so he wouldn't get hurt when he lands on the ground, metal object in his hand and whatnot. So that probably was an exchange for a soft rubber replica gun.
Okay.
And it's an assumption. I'm not sure.
And do you have a comment on Ms. Gutierrez's handling of that shotgun that she's carrying?
She's still carrying it by the muzzle end. That looks like a different shotgun actually than the previous one.
Okay.
So there's Edna saying the first thing Edna said was, well, she was holding it by the muzzle. I don't see anything wrong in it. Well, I think on set, it's obviously not what you should be doing. So don't get a job as an arbiter on a film set, Edna. All right. Okay.
Dang. Cross that off my list.
Yeah, just don't. Okay.
Want your video to stand out? Go to motionarray.com.
Dana.
No, Dana, not yet.
Let me calm down. I call
You'll be
everybody
back.
Dana because of
State's
This
Exhibit
is going
158.
fixed, so let's wait before we hook them up.
Yeah, otherwise he can catch also.
Now, you know, I'm not saying you won't get that on the rim. I don't know how these are.
Storage. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
How, Thomas, how much blood do you think's gonna come out? If the lens is right here,
It'll get on you from there.
it'll get on the lens here. See, I was thinking ahead.
You put in an optical flat back camera.
Anything worrisome in that video?
Assuming Miss Gutierrez is behind camera, then they would be prepping for that scene and everything would have been in place. So no, assuming she's there.
Okay. Let's try, and let me ask you this. In addition to seeing videos from the production outfitters behind the scenes collection, have you also seen some of the actual movie takes that were filmed during the 12 days of filming for Rust?
Yes.
I'm going to play for you State's Exhibit 59, which is going to be from that collection.
There was one additional.
Stop. 159. I apologize.
There was one additional.
I hate to say this, but I really don't like her demeanor either. She's got like a spoilt little brat look about her. Oh, and the other thing, when you were saying about what qualifications, her father apparently is a well-known armorer. So maybe that's why she got the job. So, yeah, quite interesting.
Video in that exhibit. Are we continuing on with the behind the scenes now?
No, I was gonna move us to the Rust
Okay.
Productions videos.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Well, just a minute. So did you publish 158? I guess is the question. Is that what the question is?
Yes, I published 158. Now we're moving on to 159.
Okay.
And Mr. Carpenter, I think I understand your question. Let's go ahead and move on to these.
Copy that.
Okay.
Mark?
Set, ready, and action.
One more. I forgot to recoil stuff. No, right away. Let's reload.
Here we go.
So, Helena.
I think this is really interesting because you have to hear what the expert says, okay? It's really interesting.
Here we go. Come on.
okay.
We should add two guns and both were reloading.
And hang on just a second. I think at the beginning, for some reason, what I want to show you is out of this frame. Bear with me.
Right, she's faffing around there a bit. Let me get on to what the expert actually says here. Right, let's try that. She's playing it frame by frame now.
Let me ask you this. Mr. Lewis, do you see the issue?
I do.
Okay.
I think
You're going to help me fix that?
I am.
Okay. But for the purposes of this, just so that we can move on, have you seen this video where the frame is a little bit bigger and you can see someone over on the far right side of the frame? And I can't play it on that. Okay.
I just want to make sure this is the
Yeah, that's it. Okay. We'll swap it out. I'm gonna show you the one that has the wider frame. I apologize for that error. But we'll go ahead and go through your testimony now. So the the other wider frame of this video, what do you see over on the right-hand side?
Well, you have two cameras operating in that particular scene. If it's the one I'm thinking of, you've got an A cam and a B cam, meaning they're filming it from two different locations. So you're actually seeing from one of the camera angles that has an entire operating crew behind it, which will have a first AC. They'll have a camera operator, etc., behind that camera. So imagine a crew of people, a few people behind that camera, and then you've got the other camera that you're actually seeing in frame being filmed. And a lot of times in an action sequence, they'll film it from two different angles so you can cut and chop it up in the editorial. So that's what you're going to be seeing if it's the video that I'm remembering correctly.
Okay, and the gentleman here will pull it and we'll play it. Generally speaking, and we're going to play the other video. Well, you know what? Let's move to the. I think this.
God, they take so long getting to the point. Come on. All right, let's jump to this bit.
Recordings just got better.
Dana!
Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recordings.
Now, this is Dana.
Remember that the frame that you're seeing here has that exact same situation going on as well behind this. So it's a number of people out here, both behind that camera and behind the one that we're seeing POV from, okay? And that appears to be a full flash blank just from the report, the amount of powder that's leaving the barrel, the amount of report and gun smoke that's coming out. I would imagine that's a full flash blank. And one of the first rounds that he fired actually incapacitated the camera and operator in the smoke, meaning he was entirely too close to that camera to fire that.
See, that's so interesting. Right, there's so many interesting bits that I don't want you to miss. Where's a bit? Okay. This bit, okay. But the problem is the blooming lawyers take so long to get things out. Let's see.
Camera, never aim directly at somebody, aim directly off of them, even if it's 4 or 5 inches or a foot or two, right? Now, I'm just speaking with an empty weapon that's already been cleared, not to mention a blank, where this is not even what we're talking about now. When you just generally aim a weapon, cheat it to the side a little bit. But in this particular case, we're firing the blank. You would want to have 4 feet off camera angle that he should be shooting to the side. And keep in mind, no camera crew behind there as well. That entire right-hand side or right camera of where he's shooting should be completely clear of any personnel, and he should be shooting at least 4 feet off to the right of that camera, and he should be at least 21 feet away.
So that's quite interesting. That I'm so looking forward to when the actual Alec Baldwin trial starts, because I personally think he should have been arrested at the time, and I think the only reason he wasn't arrested at the time is because he's Alec Baldwin. That's what I believe, and I think that's disgusting. Hang on, let's go.
Yeah, it seems like that's probably what happened.
I think it's true. Absolutely. And they're trying to sort of blame it all on this girl. I don't think it's anyone in particular to be blamed. I think it's the whole production. And that's why the whole production have been or are being taken to court. But there's something that I learned today is that somebody else actually passed the gun on to her. So, and he's got away with it. He got probation. So it's like, what?
Wait, what do you mean pass the gun on to her?
She's meant to be in charge of the whole thing. Let's see if this is the one that shows you.
I don't understand why they're even using real guns at all. Like, don't we have the technology, the capabilities to have fake guns or just CGI it in?
I know.
We did a whole like Little Mermaid movie. People can act against nothing, but they have to have a real gun. That doesn't make any sense.
I know. And this young girl was responsible for that. She was responsible. Her main responsibility was as an armorer, which is somebody who takes care of weaponry. She has to check that it's safe before she gives it to the actor. She has to check every time she picks the gun up. Now, she was carrying the different types of bullets in we call them a bum bag, but I think you call them a fanny pack. So
Yes.
which again is insane. And yeah, I think this guy will explain it more. I think it's all on this
Jen,
video.
quick question. Do
Uh-huh.
you wear the bag with the bag part on the front of you or in the back of you?
On the front, because otherwise you could be pickpocketed.
Yeah. Okay. So why is it called a bum bag?
I don't know.
What's the bum?
Why is it called a
The bum
fanny
is-
pack? Why is it called a fanny pack?
I don't know. I'm just asking. You brought it up.
You're going to argue with me, Edna.
Maybe.
You're going to flirt with me over the English language. Don't you start. I don't know.
Have you looked up those British sports yet?
The what? No. Right. Let's carry on with it. Let's carry on with it. Shut it. Right, hang on. Jump forward.
One more. I forgot to recall stuff. No, right away. Let's
Oh,
reload.
wow. That was crazy.
Isn't it?
How many movie sets do you think you've worked on in your career?
100.
That conduct that we're seeing on the part of Mr. Baldwin, is that typical conduct from an actor on a movie set?
No.
Why not?
Well, number one, he's basically instructing the armor how to do their job at that point, telling them that we should have had the gun on second reload, hurry up, give it to me fast. This is that moment. This is that moment I spoke about earlier. This is that moment that you need to stop and say, no, I'm not going to hurry up. I'm going to slow down. And we don't need to be, passing off weapons this fast or loading guns this fast. This is creating an unsafe and nerve-wracking situation to describe it in more layman's terms. Always on any kind of live training exercise, military training or whatnot, you don't want to put people in a nervous position.
Exactly. And I think that's why I don't understand why he wasn't arrested at the time. But also, if he gets away with this, I think, I don't want to say, I need to find another word for disgusting, Edna. What's another word for disgusting? I should know as an ex-English teacher, but I can't think of one. Insulting. I think it would be very insulting to the family of the poor girl that lost her life and the man that was wounded. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to show this bit tonight, because I don't know when his case comes up, but by golly, we should watch that, shouldn't we? We should watch that and see what actually happens with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Creates. Now you can stress a level of stress is necessary in realism training for military and law enforcement. This is not that. This should be separate and apart from that. And even when that's being done under those circumstances, it's done in a controlled manner. But rushing with firearms and telling someone to rush with firearms is not normal nor accepted.
Okay. And for the purposes of a couple follow-up questions, I want you to assume that that gentleman there in the black with blonde hair is the first assistant director.
Here we go. Come on.
Well, I had to go closer to Danny did. So.
Did you see she cocked the gun then? Did you see that? Well, she did, trust me. She cocked the gun.
We should have 2 guns and both were reloading.
Right, there's her bum bag.
Did you see him just walk away?
I did.
What's your opinion on that?
I don't really know what he was doing in that particular moment. I saw Miss Gutierrez attempting to reload that weapon as fast as she could, of course, assuming it's blanks, and we're using the same weapon. She was doing it. It looked like the prop master may have been holding lever action over her shoulder. Not really sure what Mr. Halls is doing.
Okay. Is Mr. Halls the person who's responsible for doing the weapons check with Ms. Gutierrez?
He would be, if you were doing it in that particular scene, just reloading blanks to it would be a quick, check with the armorer and with the actors. They're loading it to ensure their blanks being loaded. But many times in a situation like that where you're being rushed to that extent, that's when safety starts falling by the wayside.
And could you see, and I can replay the last few seconds of it, where Ms. Gutierrez was getting her dummy rounds?
You could replay it. I didn't.
Let's see. Let me back up a little more.
I forgot the recall stuff. No, right away. Let's reload. Here we go. So, Helena.
See, as an actor, he shouldn't be yelling to the, to the armorer to get the gun. Quick, get it, load the guns again. He's so out of order doing that. And this guy here, he's the one people are saying, well, why isn't he being charged with involuntary manslaughter? Because he was the one that was handling the gun to her. But he shouldn't have been. He was like some sort, I don't know, a deputy director or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like this was, there's many hands that played a part in it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh, Jen, are you ready for some of those words?
What words?
Revolting, repellent, repulsive,
yes,
sickening, nauseating, stomach churning, stomach turning, off-putting, unpalatable, unappetizing.
That all came under disturbing, did it?
Disgusting.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Thesaurus Edna.
You should have 2 guns and both were reloading.
Okay. Can you see in the video where she's getting her rounds from?
It looks like she was getting the blank rounds, assuming they're about to fire again from her fanny pack.
And would that be advisable?
I prefer to operate out of a secured box for my blanks that have been pre-checked prior to. Again, that may be her protocol, operating off. But in my experience, having multiple things in one area together that are not sequestered apart from one another just leans for potential trouble downstream.
Okay. I'm going to go back to State's Exhibit 159. So 159 is the other camera angle of 160, where we can see 160.
Okay. So she's just talking about angles and saying that when he comes out of here, he's actually firing towards a camera that he should never do. That's the point of this. But she faffs around with this. Okay.
This is what happens when your kids get to the HelloFresh box before you do.
Woman.
That shot, when he fires the gun that time, did we see that initial shot from the other camera?
It appears to be maybe the first one or the second one. I think the second one was the more concerning.
Okay.
Not sure where that started from.
What are we looking at here?
Well, the camera lens has got smoke obscuring it. Cameras can be, relatively tricky when you're viewing it from the angle of the camera and after that. But the better angle on that was the first angle from the first one. But again, it's difficult to see. You just see smoke over the lens.
Having seen the other video, is it your opinion that the smoke that we are seeing right here is from the gun being fired at the camera?
Correct. I mean, the other camera told the story of what occurred there, the more correctly.
Okay.
This bit is disturbing. Watch this bit. Very disturbing.
Hey, Mark.
All right, State's Exhibit 161.
No, just,
When you drop your arm, that means he's 10 feet away. I can't see how close it is, but I want to be almost up by the time it gets there.
No, I'm gonna go into this.
Yeah.
Well, let me show you something. Hold on. Step back to your original mark. So 1,000, 1,000, 3, I'm getting up.
Right.
Then when he drops his arm, Helena get out, he drops his arm, that means Brady's close. I'm gonna start to really get up.
Okay.
Do you see anything concerning here?
Yeah.
Doing what we saw previously in one of the other videos.
What would you say, Edna?
Just waving that gun around willy nilly, just crazy. That's what I thought I was gonna see when you first started playing the video. Now this is what I can say. Like, what are you doing? You know?
I know, it's insane. Anyway, I need to find another word for insane. I use that a lot as well.
Videos with the stunt performer, he's using the weapon as a pointing stick. It's his finger.
Incredulous. That's what it is. Incredulous that he can get away with it. And look where his finger is. Look where his finger is.
That's how everyone holds a gun.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So yeah. So it's like, where's the gun training on this set?
Right. So listen to what the expert says.
And you've seen this video before.
I have.
And what is your understanding about what that gun's loaded with?
It's loaded with probably full flash blanks, but blanks.
Okay. When Mr. Baldwin behaves this way and is using the revolver as a pointer, what is the responsibility on the part of Ms. Gutierrez?
To intercede and correct any unsafe behavior. Now, obviously, again, we're talking about the nuances of doing it. I would start off pulling him aside or talking to him individually and say, if we could, let's be careful with that muzzle. Remember muzzle discipline. I even have a little thing that I talk to when I hand a weapon off to an actor. And that's what I used to say back in the day. I would say control, and the actors would have to repeat the word control to me. And by repetitively doing that, it becomes a mental training technique to teach them that they are now fully in control of that weapon, and their actions while they have it is on them. They are part of that other side of that coin we talked about. If moving past that, I was not getting any result on that, I would have to intercede in this on-camera moment or in rehearsal moment. And then from there, it just depends on whether or not they want to be safe on scene or they want to find somebody else.
Okay. All right, we will go ahead and play.
See, that's a really interesting point, and I think this has got a lot to do with what actually happened. I think as a youngster, she just didn't have that authority within her for whatever reason to be able to say to him, hey, listen, you shouldn't be waving that gun around. Maybe she was scared that she'd be fired. I don't know, but yeah, she wasn't in control. What I've gathered from this,
I'm thinking she was,
is that she had no control as the armorer, and the reality is she should have full control as the armorer. But yeah, what were you trying to interrupt with, Edna?
I know. Sorry, it's just. I mean, you said it, Jan. Absolutely, it's just what's one of the words I said? It's really just beyond comprehension how you could just allow something like that to go down when you're supposed to be, like, when you're tasked as the expert on set. You know what I mean? Yeah. I couldn't. I know you don't want to talk about taxes, but it's so funny because I got into it with somebody at work. I got into it, but somebody pushed back on one of my notes because and it's all over a $7 document. But it's right is right. You know what I mean? It's like that's my job, is to point out the mistakes. So that's for her, especially with something that could be lethal, you can't be afraid to speak up.
That's right. That's part of your job. And if he turned on her, as I get the feeling, he's very arrogant and full of himself. And if he did turn on her and fired her, then she could have taken him to court for, unlawful dismissal or whatever. But to
I mean, she wasn't probably thinking about any of that. You know,
no,
the
I
way that
know.
he was talking to her, shouting at her, she was
Yeah.
not in control, obviously, right?
No.
And
She
that's
should have
what was
then
sad.
tried to calm it down and said, listen, there's no need to rush. We want to make sure that we do this properly, that we get this right.
But this
So
is where you have to have checks and balances. So if she's not gonna stand up and say what she sees, I'm sure after the first, second, instance, there was somebody else. Somebody should have been, like HR, some other
yeah.
department or whatever should have stepped in and said, "Hey, we need to do something." Like
Yeah.
I don't know how it is for the entertainment industry, but I know, like, just for working in a tax office, one of my co-workers, it was just a random instance of they were like, I'm getting sick, I think there's something going on in the office, like there was some construction done and maybe something's going on with something that happened. So they put in an anonymous, I don't want to say, what is the word, kind of like request for somebody to come check out the office. So I'm sure that there's some kind of system, or there's some kind of organization that they could have alerted to say, like, hey, you need to take a look at this
Oh yeah,
project.
absolutely. And also, I don't know if I mentioned, but also I think it was on the same day, 5 people had walked off set. Now, they've not
Wow.
dug deep into that, but I think that had a lot to do with how chaotic the set was, and people were like, "No, I'm not, I'm not working in this environment." So that's why I think,
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm kind of hoping this woman is actually on the prosecution side, and she's quite good. But I hope that they have a very good prosecutor on Alec's trial, because otherwise he's going to get away with it.
Yeah. Fish brings up a good point. They apparently were cutting costs so much that the crew was skeletal, I think less systematic than it should have been, and he was the producer. So that
Yeah.
makes sense how all of this could go so far.
Yeah. And also bearing in mind the type of person he is. Whereas, somebody else may have thought, oh, I'm sure he had a a deputy, but he seems the kind of person to try and override everybody. Whereas if he had
Mhm.
like a stronger deputy that said, no, no, Alec, we can't do it that way, then maybe this might not have happened. Okay. Random Fish says, I think the people who walked off the set weren't getting paid, if I recall correctly. I read about this case much earlier. Yeah, because this happened, I think, 3 years ago, I'm right in saying. It always takes so long for everything to get to court, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
From 23 seconds.
Here we go, let's try it.
Everyone
Rolling,
just
rolling.
need to be right here, like in the path of the gun. Could you please move?
Did you hear that?
I did.
Tell us what's going on there.
It sounded like Miss Gutierrez attempting to correct the fact that she knew that Mr. Baldwin was pointing that weapon in an unsafe manner, and she was attempting to move the crew out of the path of where he was pointing it, knowing that it was loaded with blanks.
Is there a problem with attempting to move the crew?
That's the one of the two things that should be occurring. You identify the problem that created the fact that the crew was in an unsafe position, and then you clear out the crew. If she was attempting to, I would assume, not correct Mr. Baldwin, but try to make the crew in a more safe position.
Okay.
Yeah. See, that's terrible, isn't it? That is absolutely terrible. That instead of approaching him and saying, listen, stop swinging that gun around, she decided to move 11 people away.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, that look. Yeah.
what? Hang on, see what Bridget said.
Uh-huh.
They have the union, but with how big Alec is, they probably wouldn't have done anything, but at least it would have been on record. Yeah. Yeah, I know. They are, I mean, people on set, for those that aren't used to working on set, I mean, I've not worked on a film set, but I've worked on TV sets, and they have somebody for everything. And I mean, over here, we call them runners. I mean, you start with the runners, and then you get people that are in charge of a specific, part of the show. So you'd get like the lighting guy, and then you get, the people, his subordinates, and then you get producer, and then you get, their subordinate, and it just goes on. And that's why there's hundreds of, well, not hundreds, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes,
Right.
So yeah, it's almost sort of unthinkable that it could be so catastrophically terrible.
Yeah.
This is Litter
Oh, not
Robot,
another
the
advert.
highest rated self-cleaning litter box that removes the chore of scooping.
That's fancy.
Did you hear that?
Check quarter loads. Is that what she said?
And do you know whether or not it was actually a quarter load?
I do not know.
Okay. In terms of the timing of Ms. Gutierrez telling, and why don't you give the ladies and gentlemen of the jury an idea of how many people are behind this camera?
So in a particular scene like this, assume they're shooting it with one camera, camera A, okay? Then you're going to have your sound, you're going to have your sound mixer, you're going to have your camera, your DP, director of photography, you're going to have your first AC, generally a focus puller, first assistant camera, you'll have a second assistant camera. More than likely wardrobe is going to be on set as well, hair and makeup as well. You could have even PAs on set standing there. So you're looking at anywhere in a scene like this between, 6 and 11 people out there.
Is it
Props,
advisable?
I'm sorry, props, of course. I left props out.
Okay. Is it advisable for Ms. Gutierrez to wait until the last minute to tell the crew to get out of the way?
No, the direction of firing should have been established prior to the scene. Which way is Mr. Baldwin going to point that weapon? Which way is Mr. Baldwin going to discharge that weapon?
It just seems, I don't know, I'm almost speechless at the incompetency of this. It's like, okay, so Alec Baldwin is a big name, but I mean, is he not questionable? I mean, is he not allowed to be is he not allowed to be questioned? Is he is his word the word of God? I just don't get it. You're right with your fizzy drink over there. Right, well, we're nearly finished here.
My beat. Sorry.
This is an interesting bit as well. This shows also what happened afterwards, and it makes you wonder what was going on through his head. Okay, watch this.
And go! Motherfucker.
So, can you give us an idea? Is it important when you're on a movie set and you hear the word cut, is it important that the actors not continue to fire the guns?
Yes. And then when you say cut, everything stops, and it's not just from a creative standpoint, it's also from a safety standpoint. Keep in mind, you're dealing with stunts, special effects, explosives, et cetera, et cetera. So when the word cut is said, everything should cease immediately.
So in this instance where Mr. Baldwin was firing the gun after the word cut, is there anything that you would have done?
I would file that under the category of going, as the whole saying goes, off script. He went off script there and fired for whatever reason that I guess he felt he needed to, but I would have probably said something to him about that as well.
Afterwards.
I have to laugh at that because what explanation could he possibly have for firing the gun after they said cut? Everyone knows what cut means. It means stop. But he still shot the gun again. What's wrong with him?
Because he was playing cops and robbers in his head, Jen. He was shooting them up, bad guys, bang, bang. Like, with a real gun.
You made a really good point there. It was in his head. And even when the people in charge said, cut, he was still in that movie. He was there, I'm going to shoot that. Yeah. God. Anyway, I think we're done. We're like 2.5 hours. Edna, you've kept me on here again. He was method acting. Yeah. So what do you think is going to happen? What do you
Jen,
think?
did you completely miss the... Oh, okay. I'm sorry. What? I don't want us to miss the discussion that was happening in chat. I thought it was interesting between... regarding PG and DID. Excuse me.
Oh, okay. Right, okay. What was it about then? Go on then. You can start it while I fuff about with where we're meant to be on this screen.
Okay. No,
right.
We need the other one where we're cozy on the couch, not with the old people locked out.
Okay. Oh, I quite like the old people locked out. What, you want this one? You want that one?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you,
Oh, it's cute. It's cute. Right. So what was being said about DID?
That's what I'm trying to see. Okay. So Capone says, I never could wrap my mind around DID. It seemed made up. But after my husband passed, condolences, Capone, I dissociated constantly. And it was scary AF.
Okay, I've got it. Okay, I've got that. Yeah. I can't wrap my mind around. Well, I can, but I don't want to say what I think. I think DID, is that the one where people you have to shut your face? Right. Is that the one
You just say you don't want to say, and then you go in about what you're gonna say.
I can't help it. Stop it. Leave me alone.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Right. Okay. Is that the one where people where they say they have more than one personality? That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I think
don't
that's
really
how most people would look at it.
If I believe it either. I think dissociation is a different thing, Capone. I think people can dissociate. I can dissociate. Okay. But I do have a mental illness. But I don't think that dissociation.
Well, I think DID is definitely a mental illness.
Right, you say your bit, Edna. Go on.
Oh, there's a delay, Jen. I'm sorry. I was already done.
Okay. So Random Fish said, I'm sorry, Capone, I used to believe in multiple personalities, but when so much of the initial work Sybil was discredited and the psychiatric community became torn, I've been wary of it. I must confess to not believing it also. I think we can all act in different ways, and I think I don't know if people can completely change personality. I have more than, well, I don't want to say, but yeah, I don't know. I'm always a bit skeptical of people who have these, what do they call them? Auras, where they say that they have a completely different person that lives within them. I don't know if I believe that. Now, Edna, say what you wanted to say, darling. You wanted to talk about this, so I've said my bit. I've probably upset everybody in chat.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't disagree, Jane. I feel like I think that there's something to it. You call it DID. I don't necessarily know if that's, what I would think it is, but it doesn't really matter because, or not that it doesn't really matter. I would say that it's less important to focus on what you call the illness and how you would help that person to help reconcile some of these personalities.
Yeah, but you get these people that actually believe that there are, like, they'll say, "Oh, well, I'm Letitia today," and it's like, no, you're still the same person. You're still Jan. Okay. Now, whether you want to name a part of you, that a part of your personality that is a bit different, I think that's an entirely different thing. But I think to try and humanize a personality is, I find that very difficult to understand. We
Well,
all
when
have.
it comes to PG, oh, sorry.
Go on. Go on.
I was gonna say, when it comes to PG, I find it interesting because I would say that your definition sounds more like what the situation is, where she comes in and out of these different personalities, and she's not really sure what the other personality has done.
See, I don't understand that. I can't. Yeah, I would just say I'm skeptical. But who's PG?
Purple glitter.
Oh, right. So she says that she's got DID, does she? Oh, hi, Tasha. Nice to see you still here. I don't know. Does she say she's got DID?
Yes, I believe so.
Well,
I
Bridge,
don't
who
think
knows?
she wants to be like the poster child of it, but yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I remember watching a few videos about people, girls actually, well, women, okay, who was saying that, oh, I've got 10 different personalities. And I'm like, okay, I watched this and I wasn't convinced. That's all I'll say. I've got a cough coming on, Edna. So speak.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. I think that you could definitely come in and out of, I don't know, reality. And I think you can maybe have different personalities in the sense that you can, um, what's the word? Maybe feel like extra happy and excited, and you feel like, I don't know, like a joy or something. Whatever would be a fun name for you, and you could want to be that person for the day. I don't know.
Okay, so Bridget says, like, she disassociates but is still functioning. Is that a sign of DID? I don't know.
No, I'm thinking, no, this is like she's completely that person, I think. Where she's not purple glitter, she's whomever, I think. But like, let me not speak for her, but this is just what, I imagine it is. Because if you're disassociating or you're dissociating, you're just kind of out of it and kind of going through the motions. You're not you're not really aware of what's going on. But I think she's aware, but as a different person. That's my understanding of it.
See, my excuse me, my understanding of dissociation, in my case, has always been in times of trauma and stress, and I think, like, you hear of some people who have been through a really traumatic time and really horrendous time, like they've been buried alive or something like that, and when asked how they survived that, they've said that they disassociate. So I can understand that, and I know in myself that I've done that. I know I've done that in the past. But to try and present yourself as a completely different person, i.e. to sort of try and humanize that emotion, to me, I I find difficult to accept because I'm still the same person. if I'm disassociating, I'm not then coming back as, Deirdre or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm still the same person. But I think if you disassociate through trauma or upset, then you're still the same person, but you just cut out the rest of the world. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's the way
Right.
I describe it. Yeah, so you
I
know
think
what
I
I'm
can
talking
understand that
about.
too. But I think this is like tapping into a different dimension.
I don't know, Tasha. I don't think the brain is capable of that. I don't know. I've not really studied it. I just think it is a bit weird. Maybe weird's not the right word. To imagine somebody actually seeing themselves as a different person when they're disassociating, because I know whenever I've disassociated that I know I'm still the same person. It's almost like I'm a snail and I've just completely, recoiled into my shell. That's the way I would describe it. So when I'm in that shell, I'm not somebody else. That's the point I'm trying to get. I can't imagine sort of thinking or coming out like a different person. I'm not. I'm still the same person. But I just realize that, and I think at the time, yeah, I guess you do recognize it and you can go on. I mean, there's been times when I've been, disassociating and maybe I've not realized it at the time, but when I look back at it, I think, oh God, yeah, I must have been disassociating then. It's like it's almost like your brain says enough. Okay. I can't take any more, right? But I need to keep functioning. So I'm going to function on this level and I'm not going to talk to anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to talk to certain people, okay? So maybe, how can I put it? The problem is you give too much away and people just run with it and start coming up with a whole load of crap. But my way of dealing with things, I don't know if I did it as a child. I can't remember doing it as a child, but I know that I've definitely done it, say within the last 20 years when and I think the brain sort of just comes to a part where you just
Oh my goodness, Jan, spit it out. Everybody sit down. This must be a dude.
do you know what, Edna? I've no idea why I have you on here. I've no idea. Can somebody tell me? No, what I was trying to say, because before I was rudely interrupted yet again from Edna. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just trying to sort of explain things, and it takes me a lot to explain things sometimes because I believe in the importance of words and explaining how you feel in that time. Maybe now is not the time. Thank you, Edna. But what I was trying to say was you just exist and function on a certain level. Do I call myself something different at that time? No, I don't. Okay, let's see. I think it's pretty powerful to disassociate while still functioning. So I think it is possible for the mind to create another mind, if that makes sense. That's really interesting, Tasha. Seriously. I may look into that. That's really interesting. And Edna, just shut your face.
Okay.
Lauren. I should watch Lauren's video. Okay, Lauren, what's your channel called? If somebody wants to put that in the chat, I definitely will look at it. So does Lauren say that she disassociates or does she say that she has DID? Because I think that's two different things. Isn't that two different things? Because I don't think I've got DID.
I mean, even the professionals say that DID is very rare.
Yeah, they don't believe it, do they? Well, splitting in terms of split personalities, which is probably old vocabulary. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Maybe if you're diagnosed with multi what are they called? Personality disorders.
Mm-hmm.
But then you don't have
I
a
thought
name
that
for
was
one and a name for somebody else. Do you see what I mean?
You
Okay.
don't? I thought that's what DID was.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But then some people would say, does that fall under the umbrella of psychosis? I don't know.
I would imagine so.
Well, I'm not psychotic, so, but then I don't have DID. Oh, this is interesting. Random Fish, you've got a good point there. Listen, if anyone knows Lauren's, she just dissociates. Okay, all right. I wonder if she'd mind Bridge or anyone if they know Lauren. Was that the Lauren that was in here earlier? If you've got her YouTube channel, can you let me know and or possibly ask her if she minds if we have a look at it next Wednesday? Because that would be interesting, wouldn't it, Edna?
It would.
Will you be able to stop laughing through it though? Because you're not very good at that.
Absolutely.
You're rubbish.
Listen, the way Capone spelled out how to say cinematographer was hilarious. I cannot control the chat, Jan.
No, darling, but you can control looking at it when we're talking about something else and when we're talking about something serious and not burst out in laughter.
Okay, I apologize. I will definitely work on that. I'm gonna just hide the comments.
I think for next week, Edna, you can start standing outside the principal's office. Okay.
Okay.
Fed up with you misbehaving. Goodness sake. You know everyone thinks I'm a bitch. And then I come on with you and you run circles around me and I'm like, what? What are you doing, Edna?
I'm running circles. No, Jen, not at all. I was just having a fun Wednesday waffle.
I know. I just get too serious sometimes. I know. I'm rubbish. Yeah, Tasha, do you know what? I believe that as well. I think a personality is different from an entire different mind. Yes, personality is different. You'll find it. Okay, Bridge. Lovely. Right, can I go now? I'll find it. She gave me a lot of info on it. Oh, goody.
Oh my God, it's so late.
If you're available, can you come up next week and at least, mute Edna whenever possible? She gets right on my nerves. Okay. Well, we've had another long one. I know. I'm always begging to leave random. She always keeps me. I wasn't even going to do the crime with Jan thing. I wasn't going to do it, and she's like, "Oh, let's do that. Let's look at the." Oh shit! All right then.
Well,
we'll do that then.
no, Jan. No, listen, Jan. PG had a true crime stream, and it just went all off the rails. And I'm like, true crime. I know the community wants it, and I think we had a lovely true crime stream.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I know I'm kind of stuck on this one at the moment, but I think it's almost finished because they had closing arguments today. So maybe next week we can just, we should have the verdict and see. But you know what I heard? The longest that she could possibly get is 18 months in jail, which at first I was like, oh my God, that's nothing. But then I'm thinking, do you know what though? I don't know. It wasn't all her. I don't think it was all her. So anyway, we'll talk about that next week. All right? Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Edna. And no doubt I'll see you on Drama Friday. I don't know what we're going to talk about. But anyway.
There's so much drama. Don't get me started.
I know. I wonder if anyone would come in and try and like insult me. But listen, as Tasha's still here. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you've stuck with me. I know I talk a load of controversial. Sometimes I can be, but I'm very kind-hearted. I'm just old, all right, and I'm just old, and I've got old things. Anyway, all right, I'm going. Thanks everyone.
You know
for
what,
coming in.
Jen? Don't let these. No, I'm sorry. I have to say it. Don't let these people say it's because you're old. People feel the same way, or they think the same way that you do. They just don't want to say it.
All right.
You're not the only one, because Skinny Queen, she was saying she has some comments over there too, right? Like people have said some things, or they maybe would say it, and I mean, this is your viewpoint because of your lived experience. You've come to X, Y, and Z view on certain situations, and I'm sure 9 times out of 10, if these people had the same circumstances you had, they would probably come to a similar conclusion. You know.
Oh, look at Edna being all serious and right for a change.
Right.
Thanks, darling. You're an absolute love.
Yeah.
And thank you to
Okay,
everybody.
I'm gone.
Thanks to chat. You were fabulous tonight. And hopefully come along on Friday when we could get down and dirty, because we like to do that. And thank you so much for taking part in the chat. And also thanks to everybody who's viewing this on feedback. All 3 of you, very appreciated. Please take care of yourselves out there. Stop laughing, all right? Just stop laughing, Edna. Take care of yourselves out there, because trust me, it's a rotten old world. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.